bed with goblins. Snuggling goblins, giving them butterfly kisses on the nose.
Ankle deep in goblins.
Crushing goblins.
Political succubus and goblins.
Crushing goblins.
Crushing gob.
Crushing gobs, bro.
Sitting around the campfire making s'mores with goblins. Going to the swimming hole and sneaking a kiss under the full moon with goblins.
Writing goblin poetry. Sonnets. Goblin sonnets.
Scratching out goblin fanfic on your Tumblr.
I hope to God that's not Alex Jones' code for something racist. And we're just being idiots about it. Tweet.
That's a good point. You make a good point, Chuck.
I know.
Yeah.
Making sweet love to goblins on a bearskin rug by the fire.
I need to know what he's referring to.
I'm sure it's a dog whistle of some kind.
I'm sure it is.
Dog whistle? Is that like a trigger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like a call to arms for people who only read between the lines.
Oh.
Yeah.
People who
What
have
the
hot
mainstream
blood, right?
media is not telling you
The
is.
damn fact checkers.
Mainstream media being anyone that's not him.
Check out my website, Infowars.com, for the real scoop on goblins and solar babies.
We should just start calling.
Yeah, we should write him. We should be like, Alex Jones, what did you think of Solarbabies?
Solar goblins.
He's like, I really admire that kid who looked up to the Nazi guy.
They're doing the right thing trying to destroy that ball.
Yeah. You can never trust a ball.
Ball was filled with goblin vomit.
Follow the ball money. Ball like chemtrails.
Make the friggin' frogs gay.
He was so angry about it, too. He was like pounding the
Chemicals making the frogs gay.
so good.
Life finds a way, Alex Jones.
Yeah, for real.
I found the gay.
Ribbit.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the frogs are having a great time.
Yeah, good for the frogs, man.
Yeah. Be free, little froggy buddies.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering what chemicals they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Get us some.
Rib whatever you want, man. Mm-hmm. Rib it. Rib
Yeah,
for your pleasure.
Ribbit for her pleasure. But
Is.
it's a him.
Yeah.
Because it's a dude.
Well, frogs, no.
Ribbon goblins.
Well, frogs would be lesbians, right? Because then there'd be bullfrogs.
Where is our
Would be-
podcast? Is it on the internet?
Oh, it's there.
I'm looking at it.
I'm looking at it.
All right.
I see Evan saying goblintub.tumblr. And he says, hey, guys.
Don't go
Tub
there.
goblin.
Don't go to Goblin Tub.
And go to Goblin Party.
Oh, fuck
Do
it.
not, under any circumstances.
Ain't a goblin party
Go to
without
goblin.
old dick.
You go to gobbly.cx.
No.
Oh, there's no goblintub.tumblr.com.
Well,
Well, it's your time to shine, Chuck.
But let's check.
Go
Goblin Party.
register gobbly.cx.
Gobblies. Goblinparty.tumblr.com.
Hey, buy 1K followers for $12. Liked our tweet.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Oh, cool.
How much?
Is that B-U-Y or B-Y?
It's B-U-Y.
Or is it BI?
1K followers, $12.
I'll take 1,000 bisexual followers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. No, that was last week. Bisexual Awareness Week.
You only,
It's
you
I
only
was made aware of so many bisexuals last
Yeah,
week.
you only get 6,000 bisexual followers for that much.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they count for 2.
Because their interests
Yes.
are split.
Yeah,
That account says
I thought it was...
they're a
double.
much larger demographic. I don't know.
you can get 1K followers for $12 from them. They have 3 followers.
They should probably
They
spend
should
their...
probably use their money
Yeah.
to get 1,000
Yeah,
followers
they should
and
really
then
do that first.
So
Then
it's
get back to us.
and then ask for $12. Like
Bisexual
Skip a
Health
step.
Awareness Month.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, that.
And
okay.
then it was Bisexual Awareness Week and
Yes.
then Bi Visibility Day. So
Okay.
they
Oh, so there was one day there where it was just
were
fucking
just-
on.
Yeah.
I have bi visibility.
Yes. Good job.
Only for reading.
No, not for him because he can't see up close.
Oh.
I'm sorry, what? Who said that?
You can still hear, you dumb bastard.
I didn't say I was binaural.
Oh.
Among the worst Pearl Jam albums.
Yeah.
We can all agree.
yes.
Is that you, Chuck? That's
What?
not you.
I was doing that.
What were you doing, Chuck?
No,
hitting the table. With
I don't know
my
why,
boner.
but I've just discovered a part of the table that is
Did you plant a flag?
perpendicular to. Yeah, I know.
pitch tent.
I'm podcasting. I'm pitching, brother. Brother.
Cool.
Kissing goblins. What else do I have? Facebook. That's what I have to do. Let them facing books know what's going on.
Hot tip book.
on? Kissing Facebook.
So what's up, Evan?
Yeah, hey, buddy. Welcome to Tuesday night.
Yeah, special.
When the rain began to fall. Tuesday night, BMFcast Club.
Yeah. I hear you messing with those pins.
Goblin buttons.
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 Hey, we're just killing time.
Yeah.
Doop.
Yes.
We're just four dudes sitting around,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
sitting around a table talking
That's what we
solar
do.
babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk? If you'd asked me 10 years ago, am I going to be sitting around a
You're actually-
table?
oh, there you go. Yeah, you're right on it. Yeah, you're right on it too. Come on. A little higher. No, a little back. A little back. A little back. A little back. There you go.
Freeze frame.
Freeze frame. We need some like lights and shit to come out of our hands. Though.
Well, you're at the fucking
Oh,
wheel.
okay.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Hurry it up, you bastard.
routing it through Friendster here.
Don't you have After Effects turned on?
I don't.
Fucking A.
What
man.
about before effects?
I don't have
What
any
about
effects.
What about
Snapchat?
no effects?
I have no effects.
Yeah, we should all
Snapchat would do it.
have dog ears
I mean,
and shit.
DOS effects.
What? What did that say?
It's not
Need
really a
effects too.
surprise since
Huh?
I
What
announced
did what
it
say?
earlier,
My
but-
little pop-up?
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about passwords.
Oh.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. They're not
Something about passwords.
That ain't important.
You should pay more attention to your passwords.
Look that shit.
What did that say your security score was?
Probably not great.
0.
69.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure it actually was. Yeah, 69.8.
Nice.
69.8.
Yep.
Nice.
Yes, green apple is a crime that has still gone unaccounted for. I had a
day?
bag of Skittles today.
Did you throw out all the green ones?
I did,
Or
actually.
throw them at your coworkers?
Were
Yeah.
3 of them poisoned?
What were they?
No, they had green apple instead
Green
of
apple.
lime.
No, I mean, what was... Oh, lime was the old one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lime. Make Skittles great again.
Yeah.
No.
Goblin Skittles.
The green Skittles in the bag, they've turned into goblins. And if you let them out, if you eat them, when you piss, it'll make the frogs gay.
Makes the friggin' Skittles gay.
So angry.
You can see Chuck's 31 and 31 at youtube.com/watercooler, where he's got hot movies running through his veins. He likes to watch movies. He's a man. He's a throwback.
Oh, do we have some? Throwbacks?
No.
Nope.
I almost bought bottles of real sugar dew at the
Do Shine.
no.
Oh, just bottles of.
At the Wally Mart, but
No.
I decided against it because I was already deciding to give them too much money.
Sure.
84 cents a
Mountain-
2 liter
Mountain Lightning.
for Mountain Lightning.
You mean it wasn't 88 cents?
It was not, surprisingly.
Roll back.
Rollback has ruined pricing, comedy pricing.
So,
Yeah, let's just make
Let's do
podcasts.
it, man.
Yeah.
woo!
Woo! Indeed.
Woo.
I say woo.
Woo. Cocaine.
All right, welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey! BMFcast.
BMFcast.
Episode 344.
Delicious.
Indeed. I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And what we do each and every episode of the BMFcast is we go and we watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Come in here and talk about it for the first half. Then we rate them. Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. They get 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Hooray for Robot Jocks.
However, there are bad movies. Doesn't stay away. They get a negative sliding scale, 1 to 5 bags, as in douchebags after Twilight.
That's right, because that movie
Yuck.
sucks.
We don't like it.
Yeah,
Big
that's
old
terrible.
fat donger.
It's a
Not our thing.
So, Skate Timber comes to a close.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah.
Already?
Hopefully,
We're only 5 episodes in.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the most spectacular way possible. I don't know.
Skate
1986
Timber
is,
for life.
1986 is Solarbabies.
Yep.
Solarbabies.
That's how we end Skate Timber.
Best we could do.
Way to sell it, Chuck.
Yeah.
Way to fucking sell Solarbabies.
So let's get a plot summary for this movie here.
Yeah.
In a bleak post-apocalyptic future ruled by the militaristic protectorate, a group of renegade teenage orphans finds a legendary miraculous orb, Bodai, that can supposedly bring the rain back to the dried-up earth.
Bring the rain.
Bring the rain.
No.
Yeah.
Solarbabies.
Oh, Lord, stuck in a Bodai again.
Yeah. It's strangely, like, for a movie with this many people in it, we basically have no BMFcast alums.
Yeah. Either in front of or behind the camera.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. It's very strange.
I'm very surprised that we haven't covered something that Richard Jordan was in. He seems like the kind of dude that would overact his way to lots of BMFcast movies.
Well, he died young
Kind of young.
and was still kind of in his A-list movie appearances. When
yeah,
he did.
he was
so-
mostly in good things.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But we had Jamie Gertz.
Uh huh.
She was in Twister.
She was, yes.
Sure was.
I remember
as
her.
not Helen Hunt.
Yeah, she was the wet blanket in Twister.
Yeah, we also have Jason Patrick of Speed 2.
Yeah, Cruise Control.
I mean, if we're going to do this, I'm
Yeah,
just,
let's
Yeah,
most
yes.
famous for
Yeah.
Speed 2.
That's what I was about to mention.
not the Lost Boys or anything
No,
like that.
no.
Oh yeah, they were in the Lost Boys eventually, but you know,
Speed 2.
Got Peter DeLuise.
Yeah.
yeah, 21 Jump Street.
Dom's brother.
Uh-huh.
No.
No.
Cousin?
Luke, Lucas Haas is in this.
Yeah.
Young.
That's
From-
very young.
From Lucas.
Lucas Haas.
Yeah. No.
No.
From the name Lucas, yes. But not from the movie.
Yeah, he was Tim Burton's surrogate in Mars Attacks.
So Lucas was in another Skate Timber movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's also Adrian Pasdar.
From Heroes.
The older brother from Heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah Douglas.
And
Charles Durning. There's lots of people in this.
Yep.
Sarah Douglas.
Papio Daniels, I was
Superman
pleased to
2.
discover.
Yeah, I was about to say Superman 2.
And one.
Yeah.
They appear in the first
yes,
one.
for a bit.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a star-studded cast in Solarbabies.
Loaded. And
But yeah.
All right, we covered that.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah,
so Solarbabies.
but it's yeah,
it's after the apocalypse. They've started the clock
Yeah.
over.
It's the year
Yeah.
41.
Yeah, 41. And they just round up all the kids and put them in orphanages.
Yeah, well, basically, like, water's gone. It's
Yes.
the opposite of water world.
It is under tight control.
It is land world.
Yeah.
World.
Plenty of land everywhere.
World. Perfect. Yeah, so they kidnap, like, all the kids that they kidnap and snatch up from the wastelands or whatever, I
I
guess.
got the feeling it was, like, mostly involuntary servitude.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
yeah.
They're just snatching
they're
up kids.
but yeah, they're basically they're recruited before they even have any memories.
Yeah.
So they don't really remember their parents or anywhere except for
Well, yeah, well, they
being
mentioned
inside
one
this
of the
thing.
kids was taken when he was 2 months old.
Yeah.
So somebody in this orphanage is stuck raising a bunch of brats.
Yeah. And
But
it's
then we
Charles
don't see
Durning.
any of them. Yeah. We don't see any of them, though, because our protagonists are all in their teens.
Yes.
Except for
Lucas
Daniel.
Haas.
Yeah.
Yeah, who seems to be like the only young kid there.
There are other young kids running around in the background, but there aren't any, like, that are featured in any way.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's they've formed this society where basically it's the e-police are running everything, and all the kids that are basically sent to the camp. Apparently the plan is just to train them all to be e-police,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yes.
And everyone outside is just kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But the movie opens like they have broken out of their orphanage / prison / labor camp, everything.
Yeah.
And they basically break out to go to this arena, this unused arena that is kind of like roller skate Quidditch / highlight. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Field hockey.
field hockey
on skates with rollerball.
lacrosse
Yeah.
ball thing.
And the ball's like a cush ball. It's not a...
It's pointy, yeah.
Yeah, it's got little spindles on it. And
You scoop it up and you dunk it in a little goal, and you
Yeah.
you get a point,
Yeah.
or something.
Basically, yeah. I mean, they're never super clear on the rules because the game kind of very quickly doesn't mean a damn thing, except for that's why these people are friends.
Right.
yeah.
Because they break out, the E-police show up, and everyone's like, oh, shit, Jesus, it's these E-police.
Well, first
It's easy cheese.
first they break out and they go to the arena and they turn all the lights on, and then the bad team
Yeah.
shows up.
Right.
And they're like,
Scorpions.
we challenge you. We accept normal rules, no rules. Nah, fight.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the E-Peen police show up.
Yes.
That's all I could think of is like
Yeah.
E-Penis the entire
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. They're led by Richard Jordan, who is a light blue Nazi. He's just...
Yes, a powder blue Nazi.
Yeah, powder blue rubber
he's-
outfit.
But he's
It's an awesome outfit.
yeah, but he is full on knotzing it up.
Yep.
Through this whole movie.
Not.
Knots. He's not Don Knotts, but
No, he's knotzing it up.
okay. Well, yes, he's full on that guy.
Yeah, but it's weird because the structure of this thing isn't. It's not real clear. It's like you've got Charles Durning runs the school, but then Richard Jordan is like, I don't know, head of the. It's almost like if a dean had the same level of power as a principal or whatever in a
Oh,
school.
no, he
So the structure is basically like, so Papio Daniels is running the school.
It's
and,
Charles Durning, in case
Yeah.
you're not paying attention at home.
And the Nazi dude whose name I've already forgotten is running like just the police that are outside of everything.
Yeah.
So
Right.
He doesn't work
really-
at the school.
Right.
It
There's no-
seems like he's kind of like in charge of security of this
Sector.
zone, sector,
Sure,
whatever.
but he seems to be headquartered at the school thing.
He
Yeah.
just shows up
He's
a lot.
there.
I guess.
That's
Yeah.
where he gets his recruits.
But
Because
it's like-
that's, young Hitler is from there. So.
Right. Well, yeah, because you've got Charles Durning as like the principal,
He's the warden.
warden,
Warden.
essentially.
Yeah,
of this
that's his
thing.
name in the movie. Is
Yeah,
the Warden.
and then you have Richard Jordan's like the Hugo underboss. So I mean, I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's like he's somewhere there.
Yeah.
Hugo Underboss.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. But so, like, okay, so this weird ass sporting event is the Scorpions versus the Solarbabies, and
That's their team name.
Yes.
Is the Solarbabies.
Yes, that is
they
their
chose
team
it
name.
themselves.
Yes.
And it's a regular ass organized sport in this thing.
someone else mentions it once. They never do. They never once say we're the Solarbabies. That never happens. It's written on their wall,
Babies.
and another person outside of their group says that's who they are. But that's it.
Well, no, the Captain Nazi basically says they call themselves Solar Babies. That doesn't sound very intimidating.
Yeah.
I don't get why they would do this sort of thing.
Right.
But
But
and it's written in their locker room.
yeah, it's on
or
their
whatever.
wall of their dorm or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But
But anyway, back to the beginning. Like they have this little game, but it gets broken up by the E-police, and everyone runs away.
well, it's broken up because the Solarbabies were winning.
That too.
Because he is behind the
Sure.
Scorpions because they're run by
By Ricky Hitler.
by
Yeah.
Hitler Jr.
Little
and-
Hitler.
So
Yeah, and they basically and he gets called out on the carpet by older Hitler, just like because he lost.
Yeah.
Straight up, he's like, no, you.
it's like you need to be better than this. They're
Yeah.
scrubs. They suck. You're awesome. Do
Yeah.
better.
And it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I don't really understand what led to this, but Lucas Haas was like, he's like their mascot, the Solarbabies mascot, and he's the one that basically broke in and set all the lights off and everything. And it kind of established that he's got kind of like a weird headset hearing aid type thing, that he's completely deaf without this magic ear thing that he
Yes.
wears.
Because he winds up in a mine shaft.
Right, and for some reason, like, lets this mine car go that kind of clips him and breaks his headset thing.
He trips and knocks some stuff
Right.
over, and then because
And-
they're all walking around on skates.
Yeah.
For essentially 90% of the movie,
Sure.
even if they're not skating, they are trying to walk on skates.
Yeah, but this mine car immediately goes off the rails and crashes through this wall. Bright, shining light, he goes through it, and he finds this orb,
Yes.
just kind of sitting there. Or it's sitting in some water.
Sitting
and
in a
it
little
kinda-
puddle.
And it kind of talks to him. So he picks up this orb, and it can kind of talk to him, sort of, I guess, telepathically.
He can understand it.
And then all of a sudden he kind of realizes he can hear the stalactites dripping water in this cave and starts making noise and realizes that he can hear.
That was an interesting thing. Like, there's a lot of this movie that is surprisingly well done, and that was one of them I was confused for a moment by, because when the minecart knocked the thing off, it went quiet.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's weird. Why is this movie doing this?
Yeah.
And then when he picks the thing up, it starts...
Well, they established it earlier, because like when he started flipping the switches, all the electricity was buzzing, so he took the headset off voluntarily, so it, because it was very noisy, turning on all the...
I just thought it was just some sort of, like, radio or something at first.
Yeah. But so he finds this orb, and I think, doesn't he, like, discover that its name is Bodai there? Like,
Probably.
I think he does, because he kind of telepathically talks to him, and he's like, Bodai, you fixed my ears. I got new ears.
Yeah, and he takes it home, puts it in a trunk.
Yeah.
But he puts his hockey stick on top of the
so
trunk.
he can breathe.
Right.
Oh, that's what he said.
Because he's like, I don't know if you breathe oxygen or not, so I'm going to crack this open for you.
Yeah. So he's just barely, like, all the other solar babies are back, and then roll call here, the morning roll call, and he's nowhere to be found. I'm like, where's Danny? Where is he? And he kind of comes skating in the last second, but not before. Don't they immediately, like, kind of blow the whistle of, like, and call him out on, you were outside the camp last night?
Well, Richard Jordan goes to Charles Durning and was like, look, these guys keep going outside the wall. You need to keep a tighter grip on your kids.
Go for the wall.
Yeah, and he's basically like, well, they need to feel like they're getting away with something, or they're going to try a lot worse things.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, law and order is the only way. We got to shut them down.
Yep.
They got to be punished. And he's like, well, it's not really a prison. It's not supposed to be a prison. He's like, we know what it is here.
Yeah, you come on.
Yeah.
You're in on this.
And he's like, but I want them to like me.
No.
No, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah. So basically, he has to have Charles Durning dress them down and scold them and punish them.
Yeah.
So
they get to dig a hole for, at first, 10 cubic meters, but then when they talk back, they get 20.
yeah, because James LeGros is like, 10? And he's like, all right, 20. It's like,
Yeah.
you'd never say anything when you're given punishment. Anything you say is just going to make it worse.
Yep.
So,
Pray I
yeah.
do not alter it
Which,
further.
I mean, their punishment is essentially, it's never established. It's kind of like the punishment in Holes,
Yes.
except they had an ulterior motive behind that movie. But they're just like, go dig, 20 cubic meters.
Yep.
And I don't know why. Just
That'll show him.
go dig. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So while they're doing this, Ricky Hitler decides he's going to go and hit on Jamie Gertz.
Yeah,
for-
because they're having a free skate.
Later on. But no, while she's digging the hole.
Oh, right. Okay,
he comes
yeah,
up and he just,
yeah.
he's a piece of shit throughout.
Yep.
He's a total 80s antagonist that has, like, no redeeming value whatsoever.
He has a slight moment
Nope.
where you think he's going to turn, but they
yeah.
squash that shit right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely go out of their way to make sure that you know that this guy is a shithead.
Yep.
I mean,
He's
other than
immediately rapey. I mean, he's just like, hey.
Well,
and
he
not
jumps
to be
he
fair,
jumps in a hole with her.
yeah, I know, but like, I'm not saying to be fair. I'm just saying like this orphanage is like it's like 99% dudes and Jamie Gertz.
This is true.
It seems like a bad
She is
idea.
Literally the only woman there.
Yes, it's just a bad, like, they didn't think this part out at all. So I'm not excusing his behavior. I'm just saying, obviously, the evil guy is going to go super fucking evil on her because she's basically the only woman
Yeah,
there.
but he looks like he stepped right out of Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Like he's like your total 80s bad guy teenager.
Yeah, because he's earrings. And,
Like, you think about it in your head, and
Bleach
that's
hair.
that guy.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yeah, but she pulls a move, like, he gets in close, like, he's going to get grabby with her, and she's got a shovel in her hand, and she just kind of, like, flips it around right between his legs, like, doesn't hit him, but is, like, very close, and it's like, you were saying something?
Yeah.
And that's when the wardens are like, it's, I don't know, recess time? I don't know, whatever the fuck they call it. It's like
free skate
time or something like that. But
Yeah.
they lead them into their little arena thing, and it's basically the 1984 workout room. There's giant screens on the wall showing them police doing badass things while they're just kind of like, they go in and they kind of start skating around, but at first they're almost doing like jumping jack routines, like they're all synchronized jumping on their skates and stuff, and staring at the video monitors. It's never it's kind of just some generic like indoctrination video bullshit. Like they
but
never
the whole
really
time that
1984.
they're having, and they keep telling them this is a recreational skate. It's so you have fun. While they have guards like just standing, like glaring at all of them, like waiting for them to do something wrong. And so, of course, Ricky Hitler decides, I'm going to go up and mess with Jamie Gertz
Well, not only
again.
that, like he buzzes by the other, like she separates off for whatever reason. It's just kind of standing there while everyone's skating around, and he buzzes by them, and he's like, "Hey, y'all, watch this!" And basically runs up and just grabs her chest.
Yep.
Like skates by and just grabs her, and of course
Honk,
she's like, "You bastard!" Tries to slap at him, and Jason Patric chases after him, and they kind of have a fight while the violent imagery is flashing like in between frames.
Yeah.
And stuff, kind of showing he's actually kind of doing what they want them to do for the E-Police, you know?
Kind of.
That Jason Patric is, even though Junior Ricky Hitler's much more on the E-Police bandwagon. Anyway.
Yeah. He lands a good punch on him, though. Bloodies his face.
Which is, and someone tries to, like, not only does someone try to hand him something to wipe it with, they actually start kind of like, where they come in, like, out of frame and just kind of start dabbing it for him. He's just like, get out of here.
Yeah. Let me bleed.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah, we've established that guy's a dick.
And then they kind of go back to their room.
Well, that's when they go back and they meet Bodhi.
Yeah.
Because they're back in their room.
Oh, yeah, they were kind of like...
And Lucas Haas has just kind of been hanging out there the whole time.
And they're like, what you got?
Yeah, and they're like, we're all filthy from our work detail.
Yeah. Sure, it would be nice
I
if we
wish
could take
we-
a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jamie Gertz reads them a story from the Book of Rain about the days that when it used to rain, and they're all like, oh, that's a wonderful story. And except for, Metron,
Yeah, Metron.
who's just
James
fucking
LaGrosse.
naysaying everything in this whole
he's-
movie.
Yeah,
he's just like,
he's the wet blanket guy.
it's like the Warden outlawed fiction for a reason. Nah, give me
Yeah,
that
this
book.
is garbage.
Yeah.
And it's the whole like, I'm not just going to tell you like quit reading that shit. I'm going to yank the book away from you and like
Right.
attempt to destroy it.
Yes.
Yeah, basically, he tries to come across as science guy, but he's Neil Tyson when it's just like, you're having fun and you're believing in wonder. Let me tell you why that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's also bad at science too, because
Well,
there's
that's that too. So
there's
maybe-
several
maybe
occasions
not
where he's just like,
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
study thing, and does one thing. And it's just like, well, I don't know, I'm stumped. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you're terrible. But anyway, the trunk starts to glow, and Bodhi's basically like, hey, let me the fuck out of this trunk.
Well, no,
I'm a
he
sentient
makes it rain
thing.
before they open it up, right?
Yeah, they all lose their shit because they
Yeah.
hear thunder. They're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, they're like, I
And
felt that
then-
on the ground, and even Lucas Haas is like, what? And he's not supposed to be able to hear, according.
He hasn't revealed to them that
Well,
he can hear you.
yeah, but they mentioned they feel it, so
Right.
that's why he can still get away with it. But,
But yeah,
But yeah.
it rains.
it rains and
inside their room, like
Yeah.
underground.
and they splash water on each other for a long time.
Which
Yes,
is it's weird because like it's established in this world that no large amounts of water have been seen by the average person.
Yes.
And yet they immediately go into water frolic mode every time there's water present. It's like, how would you know to do this?
Yeah,
like
it's jump in puddles and kick each other with water.
I mean, you have to teach a kid how to make splash go in the way you
And
want.
also,
yeah.
in this existence, like, they would just be chugging water.
Yes.
They'd be like, fuck, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. They would be down on the ground with their mouth on the floor, just
Yeah.
drinking every drop they could get.
Yeah.
But no, they're just like, oh, the sweet rain. Let me kick it towards you.
Let me make splashy noise.
Yeah. And so it stops.
And they're like, what
well,
the fuck was that?
that was weird.
and something happens where they're like, wait, Lucas Haas, you can hear.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't tell anybody. Hide the thing. Pretend like you put your metal ears back on and pretend you can't hear because we got to keep the secret.
right. He's
Yeah.
like, well, let me tell you why I can hear.
Well, they play with the ball for a bit too. Like it glows
Well, he
around.
shows them Bodhi, which is like
Yeah.
a glowing ball. It's like a glowing bowling ball.
yes.
which I mean, it's first it's like, hey, let me touch it, and of course Megatron or whatever is just like, no, like, this is bad. This thing, what is it? I don't understand.
Yeah.
And they're all just like, ooh, glowy ball, look. And then it's like 2 minutes into them like meeting and maybe trying to understand this thing. They're like, let's kick it around.
No, that doesn't happen yet.
Yeah,
oh, that was the next time?
No, they put it back in the trunk for
Oh,
now.
okay.
They're like, okay,
Yeah.
let's not tell anybody about
Okay,
this.
it was
Yeah,
next time.
and,
Sorry.
and we should also mention that Darstar has been around.
Darstar.
Darstar,
Yes.
who's the dude from
Darstar.
Heroes.
Yes.
And like when they had their game, he was like perched up way up top.
He's the Beastmaster.
in the rafters with his pet owl. Which
Well-
is literally an owl that just like lands on and
he
other
doesn't.
birds.
He doesn't have his owl at first. He's just standing there perched, and the owl comes and lands
Yeah.
on him.
It's even better than that because he stands there and just raises his arm,
Yeah.
and the owl comes and
Oh, yeah,
lands on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
owl to me, and whoop, 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 whoop.
It almost feels like they shot it in reverse.
Yeah.
And they were
Right.
like, wait till the owl flies away and then raise your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, this is Nathan Petrelli basically trying to be like walks with an owl. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah.
They do a lot of bullshit 80s mystical native guy shit with him.
Yeah.
He also has the dumbest hair. Well, no, okay. When he later we meet up with people who have dumber hair, but he's got the dumbest hair we've seen to this point.
It's super
which is like
teased up 80s Indian hair, basically. Native American hair. It's
mullet plus a little braid
Yeah.
and some weird jankiness
Yeah.
to it. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, and there's also a scene like when they're all out in the yard and he's drawing symbols on the ground that like bring the birds, like they fly to it, and Ricky Hitler, of course, has to be like, no, you stop that. No birds here.
yeah, he's like, no birds allowed in
bullshit."
prison, you jerk.
Yeah, and it's also like everyone's cheering on Ricky Hitler at
Oh,
the
yeah.
same time. They're like, yeah, we thought those birds were cool, but no, you're cooler for trying to kick the birds or something.
They're
I
all
don't know.
Drinking the Kool-Aid of the
Yeah. I guess.
Hitler Youth.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but again, establishing this guy is no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Right.
So, but yeah, so this guy's been around too, and he at some point sees that they have Bodhi, the glowing ball.
He sees. Okay, so they go back. They end up back in their dorm, and this is when they're like, "Hey, you know what we should do with Bodhi? Let's fucking throw this fucking thing around this room."
Yeah,
So they start like lacrossing it around the room.
yeah. Let's talk about this for a minute.
Okay.
They have established that this is a sentient being.
Yep. It has
With
spoken to
feelings
them.
and communicate, and like Jason Patrick has held it and has given him visions of the future.
Yes.
Their next thought is, let's play lacrosse with it.
Yep.
As in, hey, throw that sentient being at me.
But it also communicates. So maybe it's like, oh, you're playing with that stick. I want to play too. Just to be fair, it communicates with
they
you.
need to establish
I was
that.
going to point that out as well.
They need to do a much better job of establishing it, because it looks like they just pick the fucking thing and start hocking around like madmen.
Yeah, because one of the mistakes this movie makes is that this thing never it never has any kind of language. You never hear it. You have to depend on someone to say what it's saying, and most of the time they don't. They just react to it. They don't say. They don't repeat back what it said and then answer it. So it just looks like they're like, hey, guess what we should do with this thing? And they just start chucking it at each other throughout the room, which leads to cut to them rolling down the ramp into the arena.
That's outside of the boundaries.
Geared up for their dumb game, whatever it is, and they've got Bodhi, and they're just flinging this thing around and just scoring goals with it, and they play baseball with it at one point, which smashes it into a million pieces. Like,
There is I love it. Jason Patrick literally just shatters it.
Yep.
Like it just explodes into light and goes everywhere. And there's a moment where he's like, did I just kill Bodhi?
yeah, was that bad?
Did I just...
I mean,
I think I killed him.
I know I smacked the shit out of it with my hockey stick. But, okay, to be fair, the worst moment in this entire sequence happens when, okay, so they have a black friend named Rabbit, who then at one point gets Bodhi and just starts doing mid-'80s
Basketball things.
just, spinning it
like
on his
Harlem
finger.
Globetrotter stuff.
And, doing... it's just,
But he also gets it on his hand and then starts beatboxing at it.
Yep.
To which it bounces around to him beatboxing at it. To remind us that this was a film from 1986.
Yes, it does. It's...
I do appreciate that, they reset time. They reset the calendar, reset all that. And they're
Nothing resets racism.
41 years into that, beatboxing has survived.
Yes. Well, the world probably ended in the mid-'80s. So that was the last culture anyone knew. So when they're watching those monitors or whatever it is that they're watching in school.
Yeah.
When they dig up tapes, I guess.
Yeah. Whatever. So, but man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the biggest embarrassing part of this, which also features a sentient being being beaten to death with hockey sticks. So,
Well, people watch that like half the year.
Yeah, but this is when Darstar sees the thing because they're like, "Whoa!" What? He's like, "That thing's pretty cool that they're throwing around.
Yeah,
I want it."
I'm gonna take that.
Yes.
So yeah, he sneaks in and basically they're sitting in class and hearing the escape sirens go on off. They're like, and JB Gertz is like, "Man, what do you think those people that escaped are? Man, that sounds
They're
awesome,
free.
right? They're free, aren't
It's
they?" And
cool.
Chase Patrick's like, "They're gonna get caught,
Yeah.
you know, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, but until they do, free."
Yeah, and he's like, "Okay,
And
weirdo."
this movie at times just kind of jumps from it's like, nah, you know what happened in between here to like
Yeah, they like to
just assume you figured it out.
assume that you can figure it out, which is a really weird thing for movies. I don't know if I like it in this
There are some parts
because
that
they
are
make
really
us
jarring.
they make us make some
Well, and
Well, this
wild
one,
ass
she basically
assumptions.
comes crying up to Jason Patrick going, Danny's left. You know, Lucas Haas has left.
Yeah.
Because they took, whoever left took Bodhi. Or I think they figured it out that it was Darstar.
Darstar.
At this point. And she's just crying.
They
She's
they cut to immediately of just like the guy escapes, then the kid's gone, then let's rally the troops and go.
because we don't really see. I think we see Darstar put the orb in his backpack,
He does,
but we don't
yeah.
really like see his escape method at all. It's just,
No.
he's
Yeah,
just
it's
gone.
just-
We don't see Lucas Haas discover that Bodhi's gone. It's
No.
just he's gone too,
Yeah.
chasing after it, and then it's like immediately to like, oh god, he's gone. We got to go after him.
And they're like, let's take a vote.
well,
yeah, this is
there-
important. Like if we get caught, we're probably not coming back. This is not like sneaking out to the arena. That's
Yeah.
200 yards outside the fence.
Yeah, and just to touch on Lucas Haas real quick, like the reason he leaves is because he seems to look at the sky, and there's a motif that they play each time that seems to symbolize, hey, Bodhi is communicating with him somehow,
Right.
Yeah.
guiding him.
Yeah.
So that's when, so whenever he looks at the sky and you hear that little theme, then he takes off.
Yeah.
So yeah, they
all take a vote.
secret vote.
Oh, which Megatron or whatever. What is the guy's name? Real good.
Metron.
Metron. It's just
Megatron.
like he's writes something out and he's like, no wait, and he like scratches out and puts it back.
Yeah.
And it's like, gee, I wonder which vote is his. The
Right.
one that has something scratched out and then Jason Patrick gets the helmet and because they had to do a blind vote. They didn't want to like influence people or whatever.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, it's unanimous go, which means he voted no the first time and changed it.
because he's the goddamn science naysayer of
Right.
just like
He's
fuck
a wet
everything.
blanket.
Yes.
weird thing is like when he took it back and scratched it out, he wrote 2 letters.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm going to pay attention to see what he wrote, and he wrote no. Like he didn't.
It could
written
have been go.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe he wrote go.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the
Yeah.
choice: go or don't or stay.
Yes.
Fair
He
enough.
was actually trying to tell them he wanted to play
It's
the
the
game
eternal
Go.
question,
Right.
question as
Yeah, 'cause
posed by the Clash.
If they voted yes or no, it would be like, well, wait, yes, we stay. Yes, no, we go.
That was a
What-
confusing part. That's
Yeah.
So
that's
If I
why
stay,
that's why
there will be
Metatron wanted
trouble.
to do it.
But
Like,
if we
go,
go,
it'll
it
be
will be double.
That is
Exactly.
true in this case. If
Yeah.
they stayed, there will be trouble.
Right. So they bail.
Yeah.
They just strap on their skates and they're like,
Skates, backpacks, and sticks, and
Yeah.
they're like, let's
Ride or die.
hit the desert in our roller skates.
yes, which at first sounds like a dumb idea.
And
But-
still sounds like a dumb idea. I'd like to note.
But luckily, someone has paved the entire desert with a path
Yep.
that you can roll through on skates.
Let's just say, for the sake of brevity, it's old roads that were still there, old remnants of road.
Okay.
For the sake of so we don't have to hurt our heads too much.
All right.
Sure.
Just go with it, John.
Fine. But there are some narrow paths around mountains and shit that they ride down.
It's Spain. They have roads there.
Okay.
They had roads in the 80s. They have roads 40 years from the 80s.
Fair enough.
Yes, it's España.
Yes.
It's near Ibiza.
So yeah, they're free, and they just have this kind of montage of being free. They're just like, dude, we're out. This is great.
Yeah, the theme from Solarbabies kicks in, which is about
Oh, yeah. Love
love
by
theme
Smokey
from-
Robinson.
love will set us free.
Yes. Even though no one's in love, this has nothing to do with love. They're going to
They're-
get their magic sphere.
They're in love with the road, the journey.
freedom.
Yes, they love their freedom.
Okay. Well,
And it has set them free.
okay. So yeah, they're,
Freedom has set them free.
they're totally free.
Yep. Until all the Nazi cars come looking for them.
Yeah.
Which
They did not see that coming.
They do not get very far before they just like look up over a hill, and the Mad Max Nazi brigade has shown up.
oh god, yeah, the e-police vehicles, they're so cool looking.
Yeah.
They look They're bad, but they look great.
Yes. They're stupid. Everything about them is dumb, but yet they are awesome.
Are they all stupid? Because, I mean, the double motorcycle car is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. So
I know.
I so desperately want the Solarbabies action playset with the car and the double motorcycle and the little dude that spins out of the thing that we'll talk about later. I
yeah,
guess.
if this had made more than $12, we might have had those toys, but
Mattel had a field day. We'd have Rollerbabies 12 by now.
sure. But like the double motorcycle thing is like the cloud car from Empire Strikes Back, and it's got two motorcycles on each end and then a pod in the middle of it, which they can just detach.
Also
and,
has chopper bits on it.
yeah,
In the middle.
and they just can detach from the center thing, and two motorcycles fly off. But yeah, they just immediately march down this hill in their vehicles, this pretty steep hill, drive down to confront them. This leads to a bit of a chase.
Yeah,
Not
sure.
much. They just skate away.
Yeah.
And like come to a chasm with a knocked out bridge.
Bridge is gone.
Yeah.
It's a long way across this thing. Like when you see it, you're like, well, they're fucked. What are they going to do? I don't think anyone would guess that they would start this weird centrifuge rotation on their skates and fling each other across the
They're
castle.
basically doing the hammer toss, but with people
Yes.
on roller skates.
Yeah,
Because they're spinning around.
it's like a 5-band Irish whip
Uh-huh.
thing
Yep.
on
Yep.
roller skates.
And they just fling each other over this thing.
Yep.
Oh, except for Jason Patrick, because
He can't fling himself, so he has to get a running start way up the hill and go.
They all could have done that.
They could have, but it just wasn't as cool as spinning around like idiots.
It didn't show teamwork.
Yeah. They're a team. They're the
Yeah.
Solarbabies.
Yeah, so they skate down the hill, and eventually Jason Patrick makes the jump, and they're like, hooray! And then there's a motorcycle, as the motorcycles have come up behind him.
Yeah.
And one tries and does not make the jump, lands at the bottom of the chasm, and explodes.
oh no, it didn't try to make the jump, and it actually stopped at the edge.
Oh, that's right.
like Akira style, and then the
Yeah.
other one just kind of when it came up, went ding, and just knocked it over.
Yeah.
Yep. And that fucker blows up
Yep.
at the bottom of the chasm, and they're all like, yeah, that guy's
All
dead!
the Solarbabies
Sweet.
are like, woohoo! It blew up like we wanted it to.
Yep. And despite everyone having guns on the E-Police side, they just kind of skate away.
Yeah.
On the thin ice of the new day.
Meanwhile, Darstar
Darstar.
Darstar has made it to his home,
His ancestral homeland.
which he didn't even know. But they at some point older Hitler has a conversation with the warden, and he's like, "Wait, it's Darstar.
Yeah.
Like it's him. There's a tribe right outside. Like he's gonna make it there."
He's like, you need to nip that shit in the bud. You need to drill out all his heritage out of his head.
Chitani?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like,
Shigani?
"Dude, he
Shigani?
came here when he
Yeah.
was 2 months old.
He has no
How's
idea.
he supposed to know?"
He's like, well, I think it's pretty obvious that he knows.
Yeah.
Look at his hair.
He's doing fucking witchcraft, and he's got owls.
Yes.
So
Nobody else in
maybe-
here has birds. Yeah, so he comes across this place, Xanadu, named so because there was a club there called Club Xanadu. So you see this like sign, but
Oh, was it called Xanadu?
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah, you see it fleetingly when the
You missed the
Nazis-
giant goblin. I missed.
I
Xanadu,
did. Yeah, I didn't see the giant goblin. but-
goblins.
But yeah, it's basically like an abandoned carnival, but it's buried in sand, so you're only seeing like top bits of certain things. So
Right. Yeah, and it's apparently it's his people.
Yeah, oh,
he
yeah.
just, either he wandered there through mystical powers, or the orb took him there.
I think the orb took him there.
It does seem
The orb
kind of, it
likes him.
seems kind of weird that the orb would take him here, considering
What happens?
what happens. But
Well, it takes him to his people.
Yeah.
I think
It's-
that's where he. I think the orb gives you what you want.
Yeah.
like
Sure.
a not shitty monkey's paw.
Yeah, there's no immediate there's no ironic consequence.
I mean, I guess the orb saw the end game, so it knew
Yeah.
it was everything was going to be okay, I suppose.
Yes.
But honestly,
well-
Except for the destruction.
Yeah, except for everyone in that village.
well, yeah, okay. So this section is really a lot of padding, because like he gets taken to see the old man story keeper whatever guy who lives in like the haunted mansion wax museum place.
That is a giant goblin head.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
and I wouldn't call this filler because this guy's awesome.
He is awesome, but I'm just saying, like, they're basically like, here's this guy. He knows the things of the past, and he will tell you a little bit about the orb. And he doesn't. He's just super cryptic about the orb.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, it's like, all right, well, cool. I guess that's all the information we need from you, old man. We'll just be over here on the truck. But
he meets this guy outside who's the guy who eventually tells him,
Right.
"Oh, you're one of us."
and that guy just immediately like, that orb, what's it worth? How much can we get for it?
Yeah.
We need money.
Yeah, and the old man's like, "You don't understand. This thing is like the legendary thing, so we need to take care of it." And the guy, the guy from outside is just like, well, whatever, and just goes to grab it, and the thing's like, pfft.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, no.
And basically they're just like, all right, well, we'll just go to sleep for the night. And that dude, scummy guy of this tribe, kind of hears. Well, first we see Darstar's owl wake up, and he's like, "Oh, trouble!" And he kind of like it gets out of there. And the other guy's just like, I thought I heard something," and kind of stands up and just gets nailed from off screen by a laser blast.
He stands up off of a woman
From above
that
a
he's
woman.
laying on top of.
Yes.
He's
that's-
enjoying the company of a woman.
Yeah, but
and he's like, "What's that?"
Yeah,
just
the
that-
biggest stealth Nazi party ever.
Yes.
Because like they come over the hill and just there's like 30 of these vehicles and dozens of guys, and they got that close with no one hearing anything.
Yeah.
Like enough for that guy to get the shit sniped out of him.
Yeah.
He got wrecked. 2 of those vehicles just off-screen jump into
Yes.
buildings and destroy them. It's so good.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it becomes filler because like they wipe this place out, and it's just like, why were we here, and why did we? I mean, other than the awesome spectacle of
Right.
watching the
Stunts.
future Nazis torch this place.
It was worth it to see that truck just
Sure.
like
Yeah.
leap itself off a dune and just annihilate this tent that probably had human beings in
But
it.
I think we've gotten to the first chunk of the movie where the studio was like, start cutting shit out of this movie now, because this like entire section seems like it should be pretty fleshed out, because
Yeah.
they've set up this guy's race and his people, and they're all here, and they've got a mystic crazy man living underground,
And they built this big ass set.
yeah, and they've wrecked the shit out of this place. I mean, like, I don't know if the set designer was just crazy or they hated him, but everything the set designer made gets fucked in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Just royally, just like no other movie will ever use any of this stuff.
And there's so much care taken in this set design too. Like either that or they had these sets from some other production.
I'm sure they did, but it's all very smart because it's themed to what it once was, which is this
Yeah.
carnival location.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's all like weird, guess the weight scales
and the haunted house.
yeah,
wax
carnival
sculptures,
goofy
and-
shit, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't really mention it. The old man, like, there's one part where he's kind of monologuing his way and being cryptic about the orb, where he's standing there and douchebag tribesman guy who wants to sell the orb is kind of standing there, and he takes the arm off of a Wolfman statue and just like kind of off screen, like apparently points the fingers around so that he's using it to point at him, and is like, no, you need to just listen here. Like,
Well, he's also carrying this around, like using this arm like his own arm.
Yeah.
At one point when he's monologuing, he's got the Wolfman arm up, like
Like
rubbing
he's
his
thinking.
cheek
Yeah.
like he's thinking, and
like
like
scratching
pointing
his
with
cheek,
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
There's
funny.
a lot of
It's
nice side
magnificent.
touches going
the old
on.
man is awesome.
But-
he like lives in this skull throne that's like a giant spine.
Well, apparently the Nazis burned him to death
Yes.
when they tore down this place.
Possibly. He may have survived since he was underground. They didn't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We don't know. We're not going
cherry-
back there
The
again.
cherry on top thing is that Junior Ricky Hitler, I guess, got to do a ride along on this mission.
Yeah, oh,
because
yeah. He's
there,
signed up.
and like they've killed and are dragging the bodies to be burned, and like they've stormtroopered this place up, and like everyone is dead. And he sees Darstar's owl flying around. It's just like, ha, watch this, pew, and shoots down the owl.
Yeah.
And then walks over and grabs it, and he's like, "Look, I got the owl!" He's just
Swing it
whipping
around
it
his
over
head.
his head, like
and then just chucks it. Like it's like,
Yeah.
it's not like I got a trophy. It's just like,
It's
woo!
like, yeah, fuck this thing. Let's see if it can fly now. Nope.
And I thought that bird fucked off 5 minutes ago before
No.
the Nazis made their grand
It
It
arrival.
was just circling around like, hey,
Yeah.
guys, let's go.
God,
But anyway,
that
like-
fucking guy.
I know.
Like Darstar's
What a
just
fucking
over
dick.
the hill, kind of, sort of watching this, and
Yeah.
single tear coming down his cheek.
Yes, okay.
Well, he did.
I know.
Yeah,
To
it
be
was-
fair,
yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
It was exactly that. It was
I know.
I was making a reference, but also that is what happened.
I know. I know.
Yeah, but the point is he escapes, and with the orb, and he's basically the only one that really gets out of there, from what we can tell. And next day is Lucas Haas wandering up
Yeah.
alone.
Just into the destruction.
Yeah, and he's like, "Man, what happened.
Yeah.
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 And again, the movie's just like, time has passed, and oh, look, all his friends are here.
Yeah, they all caught up to him.
Because from behind, suddenly Jason Patrick's arm grabs him and it's like, "Hey, Lucas Haas!"
And they
you can
basically
hear
all
me.
toss him around just like they did
Yes, they
Bodai.
do. Yes.
Yep.
There's like, hey, Lucas Haas, woo! It's a Lucas toss.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, what happened here? This sucks.
And someone finds the bird, so they bury the bird.
Yeah,
and,
they
and
don't
again,
bother to bury the tens of dozens of people who have died.
They're probably crispy.
Okay.
They didn't know them.
They got Uncle Ben. and-
They knew the owl.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, and again, like Dark Star, instead of just like coming out and being like, I'm here, let's travel together, he's again just disappeared off by himself.
He watches them bury the owl and then just has a nod like, they are good people.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you should go to them now and all join forces. But no, he
But
doesn't.
nope.
Yeah. Now he takes off and they fuck around through the desert for a bit. And is it here where Senior Nazi goes to see Sarah Douglas finally? And
Yes.
kind of like, because they go to the aqua bunker, which
Aqua
is
bunker.
like,
It's
pretty-
inside a dam.
yeah. And Sarah Douglas runs this place, which is another, I don't know, sort of indeterminate, I guess the science branch of whatever fascist government this is.
Yeah.
And she's got some sort of super magnet thing that Hitler Sr. wants to use to smash the orb because he is hell bent on destroying this thing.
Yeah.
And she's
what
like,
the fuck did they call that stupid thing?
It was the sphere of.
It was a
magnetron.
Well, it was a magnetron.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a
yeah.
magnetron. So it's like a microwave.
Right.
And then they called Bodai the sphere of Longinus,
Yeah.
or better known to some people as Longinus, which was the Roman centurion that stabbed Jesus in the side when he was hanging out.
Yeah, this movie is filled with religious stuff in it.
Yeah, I didn't make the connection. I mean, I knew what Longinus was or who Longinus was, but I didn't make the spear connection.
Yeah.
That was kind of like when I read that later, I kind of slapped myself in the head.
It's both ham-fisted and vague. if that
Yeah,
makes
they don't
sense.
really like push a message necessarily,
Yeah.
except for
Well, there's a lot of religious stuff jumbled around.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
But it's kind
throughout
of
the
just
movie.
Which
a
is
confusing mismatch.
But it's understandable after an apocalypse because you would just have bits and pieces of weird bullshit. So you would start to name things, weird things that
Yeah.
you may think you remember. and-
yeah.
But all this scene really serves is that number one, we get to see the aqua bunker, which is again pretty badass.
Yeah,
and,
it's very Death Star set
Yeah.
design, and but
Fucking
like,
awesome.
but in a good way.
Yes.
Like not cheapy looking.
No.
It's also mixed with a little bit of Bond villain lair,
Yeah.
and also a little bit of like 60s Batman kind of feeling.
Yep.
So,
'Cause she is
because you have
also-
that dumb
Yeah.
like aqua bunker and
Yeah.
potassium masher or
Because
whatever.
this is the place that he rolls up to, and this is when he gets out of his Nazi travel van, to where you don't just get out of it; you are placed in this sort of
Screen tube.
and you just kind of spin
Mesh tube,
around
yeah.
down to the ground, and then you can walk out.
And they establish this because, like, hanging outside this place, there's just people hanging on the fence, like, just trying to get scraps of water or food or whatever.
Jobs.
We'll do work for water.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
if you need bounty hunters, we'll do it.
yeah. So, I mean, that's part of the reason why these e-police machines are just completely screened up. Nobody can
You can't just
get to them.
grab someone and throw them
Right.
out of there.
So, anyway, besides all this of forwarding the plot that he wants to destroy the sphere, it sets up that they just have the biggest murder boner for killing the sphere. Like, both of them are just like, their eyes light up like, yes.
Yeah,
And
they're like, "What
Yeah.
would you say about smashing it?"
and her she's basically like, don't we want to like take this back to that?
Well, they don't have the sphere yet.
Well,
no,
like,
not yet, but they're
Yeah.
they're discussing what to do.
yeah,
with it.
she's like, well, wouldn't you want to like take it back? And he's like, no, give someone else the credit. Like,
yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if we were the ones that destroyed
Yeah.
it?
'Cause
then
they-
we can fuck.
They've got the guy from the previous village.
Yeah, who we thought got just because he got blasted in the chest.
Yeah, but no,
apparently
he's
didn't die.
he's on like a weird hollow table torture rack thing, to where they're making him think that he is covered in ants, to find out where
Yeah.
the sphere is. Come to find, and so this is the one moment where Ricky Hitler. So main Hitler is sitting in his weird robo chair, just enjoying the hell out of this torture thing, and they keep cutting to baby Hitler, who is just like, man, I don't know, maybe I picked the wrong team here, guys. This thing is kind of fucked up. I don't know if I
dude
like
has
this.
ants all over him.
Yeah, I mean, like, laser guns are cool, and these these vehicles are neat, but I don't like this thing at all. That doesn't last very long. But it seemed like they were planting the seeds for him to be like, I'm going to be a solar baby too. But
they were at least maybe setting up a Darth Vader style ending for him.
Sure.
Because also on top of this, like that guy spills the bean. It's like, yeah, Darth Star has a sphere, and he's like, what about everyone else? He's like, he was alone. I don't know. That was it. Just
Yeah.
let me go. So they let him go. Who knows what happens to him? But
But yeah, that's when Senior Hitler has to
he's
explain to Ricky Hitler how the table works. And
well,
he's
also he's just like, hey, how come you didn't tell me about the sphere? He's like, I didn't know about the sphere. And
really?
He's like, oh, really? Well, what if your skin was peeling off? And shoves his hand in there and kind of becomes like the Dune thing. He's just like, my hand.
yeah,
there's some pretty cool effects going on. They do a really nice job on the hand basically withering it, like the skin blistering and withering off of this hand. And
Good
then
practical effect.
He's not quite reacting, I think, enough.
no, but it's never quite clear exactly what's happening, if it's a
If you just see it,
projection
yeah.
or if you're feeling it, or
Right, yeah.
they never quite explain it. It's just like, it looks horrible,
Sure.
but I mean, if like I had a bunch of sensation of ants crawling all over me, even if they weren't really there, I would freak out.
Right.
So it's hard
Yeah.
to say exactly what the deal is, but
But yeah, so they kind of give him the moment of like, yeah, Hitler Sr. is worse than Ricky Hitler.
Yep.
But
yes,
yeah,
Usually the way it goes.
yeah.
but yeah. So he's like, well, we gotta find the rest of them.
yeah,
We gotta
because
find Darstar.
they do some traveling through the desert.
Because let's keep in mind at this point that kind of like the Solar Babies are not really part of the plot yet.
No.
Yeah, because
I mean-
Darstar still has the orb. Or
Yeah,
what is
it's
sphere.
all
They just got the
revolving
kid.
around. Yeah, they're just kind of chasing after the plot almost.
Because like they were chasing after the kid because the kid was chasing after the plot.
Yep.
Now they have the kid and they're just following him. Mm-hmm. And eventually that leads them to Tire Town, which
Tire fucking town.
Tire Town, everybody.
Man,
What if Bartertown was
Cool.
tires?
Yeah. What if they were just taking every car they could find and turning them into badass sculptures, taking the tires off of those things, and I don't know, melting them down into new tires and also
Who
water?
knows? Maybe I think they were burning them as part of the distillation process.
Okay.
They are using them as fuel to to distill the water with.
It also
heat
seemed like
or
they were
something.
making clothes because some people were wearing tire clothes.
Yeah, I mean there was an entire sort of ecosystem around
Right.
those.
Sure.
But like the smokestacks were made of tires.
Some of them, yeah.
And just like everything is hubcaps and motorcycles, and there's like
Well,
this.
you end up with a lot of those things,
And so what happens is, okay, first we find out that apparently a lot of time has passed before they got to Tire Town because Darstar has already integrated himself into the society.
Oh, yeah.
oh
he
yeah,
has
he's
a
got a job.
He's got a job. He's got a shitty car to go sit on. I mean, he's
No, he's living in a Brinks truck,
yes,
and he had a cool mouth guard.
that's right. Yeah, so he's here. I mean, he's in. He's got a job.
But to be
He's-
fair, the Solar Babies walk in, and 7 seconds later, they're all kitted out in fucking Tire Town garb. So I guess you just walk in the door, and they're like, "Welcome to Tire Town. Here's your
Yeah.
shitty black clothing."
it's okay.
Jamie Gertz grabs Winona Ryder's outfit from Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And
But they're immediately in like weird
hat.
Chinatown slickers, basically, of just
Yes.
the straw the straw round hats and just giant black just rubber slickers, and this is to them they are now undercover, and they just walk by Hooker's Row basically, where the hookers are all like, "Hey, Peter DeLuise, why don't you give us some credits and we'll do things to you?" And he's like,
Quartz. They were asking for quartz.
Okay. And he's
'Cause
like,
it's,
what things? What are you talking? What are they talking about? And Rabbit's just like, come on, man, let's just go. We've
if
got
I have to
business."
explain it to you,
Yeah.
let's just move on.
Here, kid, you'll need some rubbers.
Oh, well, they're making those
what, kids?
and rubbers,
Yeah.
whichever you want.
But man, I can't say enough good things about like the set design.
Oh,
of
Tire Town
Tire
rules.
Town.
Tire Town is my new favorite post-apocalyptic society.
Also, I love there's a part.
Fallout can eat a dick. All of it.
There's a part where what's his name? Peter DeLuise? Yeah, he walks by and there's like hookers on display up on a stage, like 2 servings of water gets you all night, and he's just like,
Yeah, we-
all night for what? What? You just had that conversation?
We
Yes,
just had-
we
sure.
just had
Sorry,
that conversation.
fucking A. I was looking at
Don't
something.
read
I'm
the
sorry.
chat. Don't read
No, I
the
was
chat.
reading something else.
It's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Tire Town rules.
It's-
Like just in general rules, but they go around and eventually see a video screen that has that has all of their faces.
Oh
on
no!
it.
Oh no, yeah, it's
not even a
stamped
video
out
screen.
in metal.
Yeah,
It's stamped
Just
out in metal.
behind bars,
That's
yeah.
I couldn't even tell.
yeah. Because
what
at
it
one
was.
point in the orphanage, King Hitler had individual
We're going to
plates.
give him so many Hitler nicknames.
He just had individual plates with their pictures and information stamped into them.
Yeah.
Which is really amusing because they're all shirtless in these pictures. Like, were they posing for that? Is that an artist rendition of them?
I need
I'm
photos.
sure Jason Patrick insisted on it.
Yes.
He's like, I cannot wear my shirt.
He is shirtless a lot in this. But eventually, like, the kid finds Bodai.
Yeah.
He's just sensed to the back of the
He
Brinks
looks
truck.
to the sky, he hears the
Yeah.
motif, and knows that, okay, it's here.
Yes. And they all just pile into the back of this Brinks truck and just shut the door. And they're like, okay, now what?
Well, no, they don't pile in. They're trying to, again...
Metatron is trying to science his way through the lock.
Yeah.
And he's,
Oh, right,
again,
okay, yeah.
shitty at science.
And he's like, oh,
he's
it's-
probably the best scientist around, but he's still shitty
Yeah,
at it.
he's like, it's a little more complicated than our lockers.
Yeah.
And Darstar's watching him, and finally he just walks up. He's like, just the combination's 66. And then, and I love
like,
that.
oh, sweet.
And I love that Metatron. Like he's like, oh, it worked.
Yeah.
He acts like he did this amazing thing by putting in the numbers the guy who owns the place told him to put in.
Uh-huh.
He's like, oh, yeah, okay. This is great.
Science!
Yeah. Look what I did, guys.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats.
You were given a number and you made it happen. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they get inside and they're just like, all right, sweet, we're here.
Uh-huh.
And we have Bodhi. Now what?
You're right. Let's just sit and chat about it. What do we do now?
Yeah.
And it's weird because, like, they get behind this Brinks truck, like, before they get into it, and immediately just rip off their disguises. They're just like, okay, we're here. We don't need these things anymore. It's like, wait, you might have to get out. Like, what is your exit strategy? So,
Yeah.
But yeah, they're back in their Solarbabies clothes, and okay, now what?
Yeah. And of course, Wet Blanket is just like, well, we need to go back now.
Yeah.
We should go back. We're
done.
What are we going to do? And they're like,
we got what we came for.
yeah, and they're all like, that kind of can't happen.
Yeah.
And Jamie Gertz is like super pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she just kind of storms outside.
Yeah, she has a little chat with Darstar.
Well,
Yeah,
she gets
briefly.
mad at Jason Patrick. She's like, I told you not to come. And then marches out. And it's like, no, you didn't. You asked him to. You asked all of them to. Never once did
I
you
always
ever
thought
say
she was yelling at Wet Blanket. That she was saying you should have
Yeah,
stayed.
she
You
was.
were on
Was she?
track.
Okay.
Yeah, you were on track to be
all right.
one of the the Hitler Youth.
Okay. It was
So-
never clear which sweaty man she was yelling at.
that was my impression.
Okay.
That's how I read that scene.
Okay.
But yeah, she goes out and she talks to Darstar and she's like, "So why did you steal it?" And he's like, "Well, it was magic. It sounded fucking sweet."
I wanted
Thought
some
I'd do
magic.
And he's like, "Yeah," and he's
Good ass
like,
magic for myself.
and he's just like, "Yeah, but I guess I'm shit at magic,
Mm-hmm.
so just call me Chris Angel because nothing works."
Yeah. And then the Nazis show up.
Yeah. Now, rewind a little bit.
Okay.
There was a scene where they had seen a mural on a wall in a cave that they spent the night in that kind of had like she has some little tattoo on her hand of like it looks basically like almost like a fountain.
Yeah, like a weeping willow tree
Yeah.
kind of thing, yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, this person in the mural has the same thing as on your hand." She's like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yep,
And
that's
there's a
neat.
couple guys that notice while she's lovingly picking at potatoes and just like
One guy's like, hands off my taters. And the other guy's like, oh my God.
yeah, well, she's given this potato a hand job. She's rubbing it so long. It's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? But
Make sure they see my hand tattoo.
they must see my hand tattoo.
Right.
But so there's these two guys that give her weird looks, and then that's kind of over with. Mm-hmm. And we've also seen that the bounty hunters have been hired, and they're kind of looking around for them. They're all trying to chase down Lucas Haas.
Yep.
So we know that this is happening. But yeah, at the same time now, the Nazis have shown up.
And then it's kind of comical stunt spectacular for a bit.
Yeah.
Roller skate around, knock dominoes of people over. And
Yeah.
just basically fucking destroy Tire Town.
Yeah, I
is
mean,
what happens.
Again.
They cause a little bit of havoc, but the future Nazis basically just start burning the place because that's their thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
They start burning the burning tire piles.
Yeah. Not knocking over the vats of
Yeah.
boiling rubber. And,
Yes, just breaking all the machines and everything. And Jamie Gertz is trapped in a room that's on fire. And from off camera behind a window, a hand comes out and grabs her face, and then that's it. You don't see her again.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the rest of them get away, but they lose Bodhi because Lucas Haas has been running around with Bodhi in the backpack.
In the backpack.
Drops it, and 21 Jump Street is like, no, we can't. We may have come here for that, but you have to leave it. Even though we could both pick it up right now and carry it with us,
It's
but you
right at
have
his
to
feet.
leave it.
He kicks it as he's running away.
Yeah.
How do you not?
Also,
Yeah.
I mean, look.
Also, it's a sentient being,
Yeah.
but fuck it.
Yeah, leave it
Well,
for the
no,
fire.
not just that, but like it's a sentient being that is established that it can dematerialize itself and not have to be a burden on them having to carry it around.
Maybe you put
So
it in the
on a
backpack
little
and
bit on,
it's-
it's I'm going to say a little bit of the onus is on Bodhi himself.
Okay.
He could have just vaporized and be like, "Let's
Gotta
go,
help
guys."
yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotta rise up.
Yeah, something like that. But either way, they're like, "No, fuck Bodhi, we're out of here." And their escape plan is to position themselves inside giant tires and then get rolled down a sand dune.
Yeah, they all get in tires, and Jason Patrick pushes them down a hill, which is, it's not a steep hill, and it's not a long enough distance. They can run down the hill
Yeah.
because they don't roll very far.
Well, I mean, it's not really shown how far they go down.
No, but they're
It's
not.
gotta be a long way.
They are not that far away from Tire
No.
Town when they show it explode.
Yes.
But at least on the last one, when Jason Patrick puts himself in a tire and launches himself, they've strapped a camera onto that tire, and you watch him roll down this mountain.
It doesn't hold that shot very long, but it's pretty awesome.
No,
while
because
it's
the man would have died. They couldn't have him roll more than like 3 rotations.
Yeah. But
happening. You can roll more than that, Chuck. It's okay.
Not your actors. No
Actors-
chance.
Actors can't roll.
No,
Can't get dizzy.
You would
Nope.
not. No, you would not do that to.
you'll mess up their equilibrium
Yeah.
forever, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You could concuss them.
I guarantee you, there's no chance they would
Yeah,
have
but,
actually.
but
done
either way,
that.
they all roll down the hill and get out, and they're stumbling around like, "Fuck! What did we just do? That was stupid." And of course, immediately Jason Patrick's like, "Where's Jamie Gertz?" And they're like, wasn't she with you?" And he's like, "All right, I'm running back to Tire Town." Mm-hmm. To
Explosion.
Which, yeah,
Yeah, they're like, oh no, she must be dead.
They
The
had,
end.
they had a blowout.
Yeah,
Ah,
and they're like, well, maybe she got out. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
roll out.
yeah. To which they just kind of are. They're like, "All right, well, I guess Tire Town's not going to work out." So, and we lost Bodhi,
Yep.
and we can't go back to where we used to live.
Nope.
So let's just roam the earth like Kane from Kung Fu, something like that.
And they're,
I don't know.
they're scaling some wall for some reason. They're climbing up a rock face, and as they hit the top, the bounty hunter guys are there, step on Jason Patrick's hand, and just basically capture them.
Oi.
Yeah. Oi, crikey. Yeah. So they basically hook them up to their cart to to pull them along
Yeah.
while they're singing, and the cart's kind of going down the path, and they're kind of like whipping in their general direction, and a
White ninja.
robe-clad person kind of comes out in the middle of the street and just kind of like looks at them and then kind of starts walking towards them. And they've stopped because, like, you know, everyone in the wasteland is, you know, possibly danger. And they walk by and have like a camel skin water thing and are just like spraying them as they walk by. And they're like, what kind of magic? Who gives away water like this? Who are you? What? We got to trade. And they just kind of like start losing their shit. And that person just kind of like doubles back around so that they're standing in front of the cart and is just spraying the water on the ground. They're like, stop, we'll bargain, we'll whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're fighting back and forth like, well, do we have money in hand with these guys, or do we chase whatever this is? And of course they're dumb bounty hunters, so they
Yeah, and they're like, "Well, there's only one of them, so one of her, so we can take them."
Yeah. So they just get to this central location.
well
where-
they take like the I don't know, the driving block or whatever off
The yoke.
off of it, and and like are just like walking them
Oregon
along.
Trail skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they get to this center area, and then 50 white ninjas all pop up, and they're just like, ah, shit.
Well, because Jamie Gertz reveals that it's
Yeah.
her in the outfit.
Yes. Again, in movie time, this is about 7 minutes later, but apparently days and days of days have gone by
Sure.
because they've been able to integrate her into whatever culture this is and hatch this
Yeah,
plan.
they're the eco warriors, as they talked about earlier in the
Yeah.
movie. And
Yep.
she's apparently the daughter of Tree Hitler or Tree Jesus.
Green,
Yeah.
Yeah,
green
trees.
tree.
Jesus.
Jesus.
yeah. And we're not kidding, man. This guy comes out in just full white robe, beard, mullet.
Like, he's just straight out of Star Trek. Like, we landed on this eco-warrior planet, and this guy was their leader.
I mean, almost Barry Bostwick, like, in Megaforce, walking out, just like, hello, my children.
Yeah.
Praise me.
I love that they walked up to this town, and, you know, and it's like this beautiful... There's like this waterfall there, and there's like these rope bridges, and we're just like, man, the Nazis are gonna burn the shit out of this as soon as they get here. Because the first thing he tells them is, he's like, "Oh, no one knows about this place. It is our secret." And we're like, "Oh, you're fucked now. You brought the dumbass solar babies here."
Die.
Yeah. They're like your Hunter from the Future. It's like wherever they go, that society
Shit gets wrecked.
Yeah, just expect it to be disintegrated within an hour.
Yeah, your plateaus are fucked.
Because they're like, water's just pouring out of everywhere, and she's like, it's called ice.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're like, oh, that's interesting.
And once again, it's like they have to stop and splash in the water.
Yeah. Yes, they come across another puddle, and it's just like, kick you with water. It's like, dude, drink.
You've been in the desert. The hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You were the horse with no name.
Yeah.
And then there's just more weird hatchet job editing going on here, because it's basically like Jason Patrick and Jamie Gertz go swimming and kind of have a conversation, and it's probably leading to a sex scene, but it doesn't. It's just like one kiss, and then Jason Patrick's like, okay, we're leaving.
I keep seeing production stills for this movie where they're like in the water and smooching up, and like, so they cut some shit from this for sure.
Because like they go to kiss, and then it fades to Jason Patrick and the rest of the Solar Babies just bailing. They're like, okay, we got to go, we got to get Bodhi. So we're leaving, and she's like, no, don't go. Okay, I'll come with you.
Well, she's like, maybe take this, and throws him a parchment. It's a map for the aqua bunker.
It's just a big old
giant
cloth,
detailed cloth map.
Well, they pre-ordered.
Right. That's right.
Yep. Meanwhile, at the aqua bunker,
yes,
they have been just trying to murder Bodhi.
They're shooting lasers at it.
Yeah. And it's got like this cracked surface now, and they're like, and
they're lasering this shit out of this thing.
And the lady's just got, she is just murder bonering it up for this thing. She's like, we're gonna crack it soon, and then we could disembowel it once we get inside. And it's just like, why?
They hate it. They flat out hate it. Yeah.
Like, I don't even understand. Like, what did this thing do to you?
They never say, but I don't think they do, because they sell it so well. They're so happy to be just destroying this thing that we don't need a reason why. They're just like,
they're like, we're Nazis and we like destroying happy things.
Yeah, I mean,
fuck Longinus.
Yeah, I mean, like, you watching it, you understand they control all the water, and this thing is going to bring back the water, but it's never explained to them that that's what's going to happen. They just seem like dicks. They're just like, people like this thing. Fuck this thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's assumed. Well, so the Nazis also like actually collected, or were trying to collect a bunch of holy relics.
Yeah.
Because they,
but they weren't trying to crack them open and drink the delicious juice inside.
Murder them.
They were trying to destroy another holy people.
But it's okay. Well, whatever.
But they're not really done, because like they've crusted the outer shell of this thing. It's a different color now. It's not glowing anymore.
Now they have to crack it to get to the creamy center.
And Sarah Douglas is like, well, I've got the next thing for us. She's like, say hello to my magical murder bot.
Yeah. Terminac.
Yeah.
Because Terminac is fucking awesome.
So just imagine like the Rocky IV robot slowly entering the scene if the Rocky IV robot had like 20 extra arms and each arm was a death implement.
And was 12 foot tall.
And was painted black and looked kind of like a turkey.
And it has eye stalks.
Yes.
It also looks like a couple of the robots from like Star Wars. You know, it's got a bunch of arms hanging off, and it's probably going to poke you.
But everything on this robot is meant for murder. Everything is a claw or a drill bit or a
I was going to say, or drilling, you know.
So they're like, yes, Terminac will fucking crack this thing. And they just rub their hands together and are just like, go to it. And the thing comes in and kind of surveys it. And then is just like picks, like this chessboard slides out of it with all different drill bits on it. And it chooses one. And she's like, oh, it's choosing the carbon fiber. This thing. And just watch it screw this drill bit in and just lower this down onto Bodhi.
And I love that Hitler Sr. is just like, part of the time he's got the murder boner, and part of the time he's like, just shut up, lady.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
He's
need
like,
to
I'm
hear
the
it.
evil one here. You dial it back a notch. You and your shoulder pads.
And meanwhile, Ricky Hitler the whole time is just like, man, this is fucking sweet.
I'm glad I signed up for this.
Yeah, he's back on board.
Didn't even know we had murder bots.
Yeah.
He's like, you got a giant turkey murder bot drill thing. Sign me up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the Solarbabies approach the dam.
They do.
They roll in various formations, take separate tunnels.
Yep.
Well, they come to a gate that's electrified.
Yeah, can't get over that.
And one of them has a
Are you sure about that?
One of them has a really long pole. What on earth could he be doing with that?
Well, he starts skating at it real fast while holding the pole perpendicular to his body.
Yes.
One hand in overgrip and one hand in undergrip. And I don't really know what you call that. What is it when you take a big pole and you you vault over something?
Yeah,
he polar skates over.
Yeah.
Roller skates.
That's yes.
I'm surprised that this was still around.
Bless
You
you.
would have think the future Nazis would have started with the poles.
No. I quit.
Wow.
Why don't you go ahead and mark that point in the editing?
Man,
Wow.
still too soon.
Yeah.
Well,
Damn it.
I'll have a bit of a debate within myself in the editing room tomorrow.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Him too. Well. So yeah, he pole vaults over the fence.
That he does.
You want to try that without Peter Brady? Hey, pole vaults.
Pole vaults. Wow. Whew. That's the worst part is we probably can't even run that joke. And it broke all of us.
Why not? They didn't mass murder the poles. I mean, not per se, not any more than anyone else.
Well, you didn't. So that's that's a good joke. I vote keep it in.
All right.
I mean, it's a good joke in kind of bad taste, but woo!
Aren't they all?
BMFcast does not endorse the Nazi Party.
No, neither do I.
I'm just saying. Just putting that out there. Making sure. So yeah, he pole vaults over this electrified fence.
Yep.
And should land and shatter his ankles, but no, he's fine.
Of course.
So he goes in and just starts yanking wires out of the...
Meanwhile, there's a big button that says gate.
Yeah. Yes.
He's
open
good
the
at science.
Doesn't push that. He just starts ripping out wires and sparks are flying everywhere. And eventually, they de-electrify the gate and the gate opens. And
But he also shuts it. There's a gate on the door for dogs.
We haven't mentioned the dogs.
Yeah, there are future dogs as well. They have
Flashlight heads
headgear. And kind of like a little
They
bit
have
of
hats.
studded leather armor thing going on too.
Hats.
Yeah.
Little Doberman hats.
they have little chest piece armor.
They look like a bunch of good boys.
And the funny thing is that you can never... They don't keep them on screen at any point for too long because they immediately start trying to get the shit off of them. They're just shaking it like, get this thing off of me. So you never actually see them for very long. But so yeah, the dogs are all blocked in and they're free to skate into the building, which they do. In formation down this hallway through just a bunch of switches and everything. And it's right around this time that the drill bit on Terminac starts heating up and then explodes. And drill bit pieces fly across the room, and part of them scar up King Hitler's face. And he's just like, son of a bitch.
Yes.
I do not approve of this at all.
Yeah.
And that's when the Solarbabies kick in the door. Like, we're here. Ta-da.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes chaos. So everyone's solar baby fighting.
Yeah, and they're running in with their sticks, and one of them knocks one of the eyes out of the robot, and the robot's like, No.
He uses the other eye to look for the missing one.
The one eye looks over and goes like, "Oh God, why?
Yeah.
Why do I have articulated eyes? I can see the other one's off."
Yeah.
This is horrifying.
Yeah. And so, then they knock the other one off to, put it out of its misery for that.
And that's when it's just like, fuck,
Yeah,
where's everything?
It's just spinning around the room, just like, what do I murder now?
Meanwhile, it's gone from yellow alert to red alert.
Yeah.
Like, steam's coming out. Of
I
things
do
now.
appreciate that it's implied that robot had feelings as well, because when she mentioned that he was going to crack the shell and destroy this thing, he's like, this robot has been programmed to enjoy its work.
Yes. So it's
the
also going to feel the
implication
consequences.
the robot is going to be so pissed.
Yep.
You knocked its eyes out.
Apparently it is, because this shit starts to steam up and blow up, and
Yeah.
Senior Hitler gets grabbed by the blind robot.
That's
now.
King Hitler.
King Hitler, sorry.
Yeah. First, Lucas Haas grabs Bodai. Mm-hmm. Eventually, he's like, "Hey, buddy," and the thing like starts glowing
It's
a little
Bodai.
bit.
Yeah.
And like I guess fries whatever the electric bolts that were holding it in, and he's able to pick it up. And immediately, the scientist lady is like, "Oh, you got to give me that!" And so she grabs it, and Bodai's like, "Nah, Lo," and lights her goddamn hands on fire.
Yes. Which sends her back into a console, which electrocutes her to death.
Yes, while her hands are on fire.
Yeah. So that happens.
Yeah, and then King Hitler.
And
gets
that's
grabbed
when
by a
King
robot.
Hitler grabs him, and he smartly grabs the kid, and he's like, "I'm not touching that ball."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about his creeper moment where he picks up Lucas Haas and is like, "Hey, is that your ball?"
Yeah, he picks him up like a babe, like an infant. Just like, I got you.
Yeah.
You got a ball?
You just
Where
hang on to that
Lucas
ball.
Haas should be like, "Here, I'm gonna smack the ball against your ugly ass face,
Yeah.
Hitler."
No, he just immediately goes into like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess you got me. But that's when
The robot,
Terminac
the robot grabs his arm
just like, yeah, you're mine now. I
and
don't know
just
who you
starts
are.
gripping, and he's like, "Fuck!" Like
Yep.
he gives a good like son of a bitch.
And that's when Ricky Hitler's like, I'll save you. And runs over and just starts.
Yeah.
Well, he shoots the robot in the face.
Yeah.
Which he drops King Hitler and he's dead.
Yep.
He's mangled.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fucked up.
Meanwhile, the rest of them have gathered up everything and have been knocking down guards left and right, and just are like, "We got to get the fuck out of here. Things are going wrong."
Monitors start exploding water.
Yes. Water starts exploding out of everything. And this room blows the fuck up. Once again, a great set design is just wasted.
Ruined.
I mean, and I don't mean wasted like not given its due. I mean, they obliterate this set.
They tore it
No
to
one
shit.
is ever using this again. Not one thing in this room is ever like you've never seen Terminac repurposed into anything. No, because they destroyed it.
Oh yeah, they blew his face off.
Yes. So
First they plucked his eyes out, and
Yeah.
then they blasted his face off.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, water starts flowing out, and they all just skate, basically just book it out of the building.
yep. And they get out, and they get over a hill, and then the dam is just like, nah.
Busted loose,
Yep.
and then a thundercloud forms because I guess like all the water vapor immediately goes up into the atmosphere.
Yeah, makes clouds.
Yep.
And they're like, sweet.
And a thunderstorm comes, and lightning kills all of them.
No.
No.
Oh,
No, they just kind of form a little circle and Boda is like, "Hey y'all, I'm gonna glow," and then
Gotta glow.
Yeah. And it like goes off into space, and they're like, well, huh. But then they realize that Bodai is still a piece of all of them, because at some point they all got in a circle around it and made the purple glow with each other. And apparently they still have that power within them, so they do that again, which starts this weird tornado thing that fires up into the sky. And then they're just basically like,
let's go play at the beach that now exists.
yeah, they're like, cool. Now the world is renewed.
Yep. They are the last dragons.
Yes.
They now possess the power of the glow.
And then credits. It's strange. It's an odd ending because you don't really get a lot of resolution to both the bad guys and the good.
yeah. They're just swimming in the ocean over like as the credits roll over them, which was
Yeah.
part of his vision. But still, it's just kind of like, all right, now there's an ocean
Yeah.
because we broke a dam. I don't know.
It's going to rain all the time now.
Yeah. But no resolution for Ricky Hitler.
No.
Like, not even a death scene for Ricky Hitler.
Probably drowned.
Unfair.
Yeah, like, probably drowned somewhere. But he's the one that you kind of like, even though, like, King Hitler's a total dick, like, Ricky Hitler's aggressively a dick towards them. Like, and just that scene with the bird, it's like, fuck you, kid.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And that never pays off.
Yeah. And you have to wonder if they were thinking franchise with this and purposely didn't show his death, because then you've got a ready-made bad guy for the second one. I mean, this does have that kind of like, maybe we could do more stuff with this, because I think I think especially because you've got 6 main characters and you give like 2 of them a backstory, but the other 4 also have backstories of where they're from and why they're special.
Yeah.
You just never get that. So you have to imagine someone was thinking, maybe if this is popular, maybe if this is our Star Wars, we could...
Maybe. Yeah,
I also think it's probably sloppy editing.
Yeah, but as it is, it does not pay off at all.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of Solarbabies.
Yep.
Then we get the Smokey Robinson song again.
Which Stargrove?
No, that song's not about anything.
No.
I mean, and the lyrics are
right.
religious. It's
Yeah, it's
Fine.
no, it's definitely not.
yeah. I mean, at no point did love set them free.
No.
Bodhi set them free. Bodhi.
Bodhi is love.
Bodhi, yeah.
Oh, is that
Bodhi means love.
does it?
I don't know.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, but soundtrack also kind of, I don't know, man.
It's just a synthesizer. There's
Yeah.
really not anything to it.
Yeah,
Like one
but,
synthesizer.
Yeah.
but it's like overbearing, like Epcot Center type background music
Yeah.
bullshit.
It doesn't do what it should.
It kind of has a charm to it though, but yeah, like if we were going to approach this as a real movie, I think it would be a huge detriment to it.
Yeah.
But it kind of helps with the cheese factor of this a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, and adds to the datedness.
Yep.
So, but anyway, ratings.
Mm-hmm.
I can go.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 4 jocks.
All right.
I had a lot of fun with this. Like this is a really, it's a really fun movie. Like, it was way better made than I was expecting, as far as like, physically editing. Yes, it seems like there's a lot of storytelling stuff that the ball gets dropped, but you cannot knock any of the sets that they use in this, like the costuming that they use for everyone. Like, all of that stuff is great, and it's kind of a fun world that they've created, even though it's basically just like kind of Mad Max light. But I still really enjoy it. I just wish that they had they gave satisfying deaths, kind of. Well, I mean, the most satisfying death is the scientist lady, who's kind of like, you should have maybe given that to Hitler Senior, or even Ricky Hitler, But
she never does anything more than just sneer.
well, yeah, and just
she
to
never
have a murder boner for Bodhi,
Yeah.
but
she never leaves the room.
yeah, she was on one set the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's a lot of fun. Like, I don't know any other way to put it. I had a ton of fun with this movie, so I'm going 4 jocks.
All right.
I'm going to echo that 4 jocks. I thought Solarbabies was awesome. I don't have much of an addendum. I wish that they had tried a little harder to make some transitions a little easier. Tire Town was fucking radical as hell.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All that laughing made me. I've forgotten what else I was going to say now. What was I going to say? Oh, the roller skating thing was like, it was yet again one of those things where they didn't really have to. It didn't really have to be about roller skating. They could have done this on any wheeled vehicle or not at all, and it still would have been approximately the same movie.
Yeah, that game never comes into play at all.
You'd think it would come into. They'd bring it back up in the final scene or something. They'd be flipping Bodhi around between them, playing
Get
keep
it to
away
a certain
from
place or
King
something.
Hitler
Yeah,
or something. Yeah, but
Nope.
maybe that was cut out of the movie too. You never know.
Yeah.
I can see why this movie made like 2% of its budget back in the theaters. But it's still awesome in so many ways because there are so many people trying so hard to make a good movie in this movie. Set designer, costuming is excellent. Like, the acting is pretty good. There are all the bones of a good movie in here. It just needs some editing help, and somebody needs to fund Solarbabies 2, Solar Teens, or shut up, Chuck. Don't shake your head at me.
All right, fine.
Solar Kids.
Or Solarbabies, reboot. We're fans of reboots these days. We're not fans of reboots, but society as a whole seems to be a fan of reboots.
As long as they plan for an ongoing franchise.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I think Solarbabies is a 2 Jocks movie. But I think the set design also garners a Jocks, and so I'm going to give it a 3. I think this movie is actually... It gets better as it goes along, surprisingly. Usually you kind of front load these movies to let the audience know exactly what you're getting. And they kind of jettison all the stuff in the first act when they get to the second and the third. It's not about their dumb sport. It's not about... Once they're out of the school, that's it. Like, Charles Durning has nothing to do with anything ever again. They escape that, and then it becomes go to one rad location after another and look at what they've done, look at these people, look at these characters, look at what they're wearing. It's all pretty dumb. It all doesn't make a lot of sense if you really think about it, and the movie's biggest flaw is not giving that thing a voice of some kind because you have no connection to it whatsoever. And you don't know how to feel about it when they're batting it around like a baseball. But it's endearing in a really, really, really strange way. Like, by all accounts, it's a sloppy movie, and I don't know if that's editing, I don't know if that's writing, I don't know what the deal is with that, but deep down in there's some very cool stuff, and you could definitely say... Yeah, you should watch Solarbabies. I feel stupid saying that because it's a dumb title, but yeah, this is the kind of thing that people should see. So, and now that it's on Blu-ray, you can. So
that's how we watched it.
Yeah, I'm going to go back with the 4 Jocks rating. I'm really high on this movie, just not quite a 5. Like, this movie is missing the thing that makes it a 5 Jocks movie. That for sure, but like it's a strong 4. Solarbabies is fucking awesome. And honestly, like I think there's very obvious signs of somebody coming in and hacking what was probably a 2-hour plus movie down to 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think the editing holds up remarkably well for that. I've seen other movies where hack and slash jobs by the studio means we didn't really plan for that. How do we take this out and still make it coherent? I think this movie does a pretty good job, all things considered.
It survives.
Yeah.
A lot of movies don't. They bleed out on the floor. But
right. I think the one thing, the strangest thing that kind of sort of remains is the half-assed romance between Jamie Gertz and Jason Patric. It's just like, it seems almost at times convenient, just like for him to have a jealous streak to want to fight Junior Ricky Hitler, and then also just kind of like, I sort of want to talk you into doing something, kiss. That's how it feels the way it's left over in the movie.
Yeah.
So those things come across as a little bit awkward. I think the rest of it holds up pretty well, considering.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's probably 10 or so minutes of romancy crap that they cut.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's PG-13, not PG. So I was thinking if they cut it down to PG, that kind of makes sense. Maybe they cut out some hinting at sexy bits, but...
It's just weird because there's nothing offensive in this.
No.
At all. This is almost G-rated.
There's some blood.
When the kid's arm disintegrates.
Arm disintegration.
That's if I was a little kid, that would freak me out.
That's probably what got
Nazis.
them the PG-13.
I'm thinking that's the thing that,
But General Menace, not really.
No.
And the only torture is that one guy with ants on him and
right.
Bodai.
I forgot about the melting arm scene. Yeah, that's. I mean, this was post Temple of Doom, where it was anything like that. They were like, oh no,
Yeah.
kids scarred.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
And a lady getting her hands lit on fire.
Yeah.
And then electrocuted.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then flooded.
Yeah. Whatever. Let's take a break, shall we?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything for second half? No.
No, I forgot to mention that I watched Scott Pilgrim again a couple weeks ago when I was cleaning up glass, actually. And that movie still rules.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like my new thing is like I have a movie and I have almost nothing to say about it.
Well, then say nothing about it.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is nice.
What is it? Bonus content.
I watched a movie called Final Girl.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, The Final Girls?
I think it's just called Final Girl.
Okay.
It's got Wes Bentley and Abigail Breslin in it. It's just something found on Netflix, and the title and the summary sounded interesting enough that I was like, we can watch this.
Oh yeah, it's a different movie than what we're thinking about. Maggie.
What's The Final Girls?
Final Girls is like a horror tribute.
This kind of is too. I mean, it's, I don't know. Fuck. I feel like I at least need to say something about it.
Okay. Well, we have time. No one else has anything.
Yeah, we just have some emails.
Yeah, I'll be very brief.
Okay.
Steve sent us an email.
I see that.
Steve mail.
Steve.
Jeez, Steve. Look at you with your verbosity. Steve. God, it's going to take me 5 minutes to read it. Jeez, Steve. I think he can hear you. Oh, son of a... Still getting used to mail in iOS 10. Haven't hit the right arrow, which of course Gmail on your desktop is hitting the left arrow. Yep. It's like, fuck all y'all. Quit changing shit. Home stretch, Chuck.
Yeah.
You're almost. That's it, man.
Only
No,
got
wait,
two more
no.
to make.
Oh, two more to make. Okay.
Wednesday and Thursday are done.
So if the hard drive hadn't died, you would have...
I'd be done by now.
Yeah, you would have been done. But now you've been kind of like every day you're like, I gotta finish.
Well, I was ahead until Monday. Monday this week was the first day I had to make a video for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
That's way later than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Usually it's about mid-month and I'm fucking freaking out because I have
Yeah.
to make a video a day. But yeah, no, this if that had not had happened, this would have been the easiest process I've ever had. Because aside from the hard drive crash, I didn't have any software issues, I didn't have any computer issues, I didn't have any file conversion issues. I mean, everything did exactly what it was supposed to do.
I like to hear that.
Yeah. And if I had just known the solution to getting my hard drive back up and running at the time, which I now know, I wouldn't have even lost a day. So.
Yeah. Instead, you lost like a weekend. Didn't it happen on a Friday?
No. It was the day we podcasted that day.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh, that's right, because you came in and were sad.
Yeah. You guys watched my video while we were sitting there eating.
Yeah, and I was like, Chuck, I wanted to give you a hug, but I didn't want to touch you.
Yeah.
Well, boy, if I had a nickel for,
Just kidding, Chuck.
like when I go to the club,
I wanted to hug you, but I didn't want to touch you.
I'd like to give you that lap dance you paid for, but ew.
Yeah, here.
Look at you.
How about I give you $10?
Yeah.
It's in ones.
Here's
Is that
your 20
okay?
back with
Yeah.
interest.
Yes. You just go outside. I'll tell my boss you got sick.
All right. I promise no more podcast breaking Nazi jokes.
It's okay. We made a lot of Nazi jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, we said Nazi like 300 times during
True.
that half.
Hitler a lot more.
I took this.
So if there's a
Jesus.
there's
Well, there was a
Hitler-
character named Hitler.
There wasn't actually.
Oh.
His name was Grok.
No, his name was King Hitler.
No.
It was Hitler
was-
Senior.
Actually, none of that.
Oh.
Powder blue Hitler.
Hitler. I knew that would make you laugh.
It's the worst. Hitler.
So was Hitler. Hitler
was
also
the worst. I would not laugh at that. But when you try to merge Powder Blue and Hitler,
Hitler. It makes sense. It's so easy.
It really is.
it's not.
You're like the staples of comedic receivers. I don't know what the
Audience.
audience. Thanks,
Sure.
buddy.
Receiver.
You know that thing we don't have.
That's why I have no fucking idea what it
No,
is.
more
no, you
receivers.
guys. You guys are cool. I'm just saying.
Yeah. The rest of them.
Fuck you. Not
Cool.
you. You're cool.
Fuck them.
Why are people saying my name over and over again in the chat? What's happening?
Same name. Same name.
Chuck your heart.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. Somebody concerned about your heart?
No,
Oh.
Just take care of your heart, Chuck.
my heart is fine.
It's as big as a basketball. It needs protection.
It's as big as bow tie.
It is. You got a big pulsating bow tie.
I
in
do.
your
It's
chest.
in there talking to me. It's like, hey, lay down.
Yeah.
Drink
Hey,
your orange juice, Billy.
take a nap once in a while.
I have the spirit of Robert Loggia inside me.
Robert Loggia is inside you the entire time.
Drink your orange juice. I'll never shut up until you do.
All right, let's make second half.
No.
See if I can get as loud a clap this time.
That first one was
a good-
loud.
that was a solid
Yeah,
clap.
suck it
Scared
up.
me. I was very scared. Nope.
All right, welcome back.
Hey! Second half.
Indeed it is.
The second half.
So I don't think we have a lot in the way of movies this week.
Nah, not really.
I think 31 and 31 things and video games and
Yeah,
other things have gotten in the way.
31 and 31 you can find at youtube.com/watercooler.
Huh.
Will it be over by the time this episode actually posts?
Almost.
It might be,
Just about.
but if you've missed any, you can catch all of it at youtube.com/watercooler.
Yeah,
all of
you
season
can
9.
Start your month off right.
Yeah.
You can start
You can get in the Halloween spirit.
Yeah, see, if you haven't watched any, you can just wait till October 1st.
Yeah.
and start with the
and
first one.
You can either binge watch or one per
Yeah.
day.
And it's new. It's new to you.
You should watch all of them every day. That's my
Right.
recommendation.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Yeah, make Chuck 20 cents.
31 times 6, you can get through that in a day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
So,
You're welcome.
We like what you do, and we like to support it.
I
with
appreciate
this
that. Thank you
little
very much.
I did watch one movie that I will probably be a little bit brief on. Watched a movie called Final Girl, 2015, I think.
Oh, no,
So
we
according
out
to the
girls.
letterbox anyway.
Yep.
So this is not The Final Girls.
No.
This is Final Girl.
Final Girl.
Okay.
Yeah, this has Wes Bentley, as well as mainly starring Abigail Breslin. I'm trying to think, okay, this is a strange movie. Like, I liked what this movie set out to do more than how it actually did it.
Okay.
Because, like, they paint it as, like, this world where there's this kind of secret society, a la like John Wick, where people that have been the victim of some sort of like violent crime, serial killer kind of thing like that, get trained to exact revenge, and not necessarily on their own serial killer, but on other serial killers.
Okay.
So it kind of has this world that's like Hannah meets Dexter, because Abigail Breslin's character is like in first scene, she's, I don't know, maybe 8, somewhere between 8 and 10, and being sat down with Wes Bentley, and he's like, I too lost some people, you know, I'm going to give you a test, and like he gives her a maze, and she does it like perfectly first go, and a couple other things is like, I think you're ready, you could be one, you know, and it's like cut to years later, she's grown up, she's 18, 20, however old she is, and you know, now she's a badass. She's been training every day with him, and like you've got this like handler operative situation, and it's like they do all this like kind of world building, and then it's basically like, all right, we're going to go after these group of rich boy frat guys who lure women out to the woods and hunt them, and it's like almost like they set up this world of like all this stuff can happen with this character and this thing, and then they just spend their entire time in this movie like going through the motions of tracking down this one group and exacting revenge on them. And it's just kind of like,
Okay.
it's over, and it's like, well, that it seems like you spent 20 to 30 minutes setting all this up just to go after one group. I mean, they're bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's like it just seemed like maybe you don't spend as much time with them. And
shouldn't there be a montage of them like getting a bunch of groups?
Sure, or something. Yeah, like something else. You just feel like it's strange. Like her first mission is like the rest of the whole movie.
Oh,
or her first solo mission, and there's lots of cool things in it. Like there's very interesting shots, and there's unrealistic lighting and interesting, which is interesting because like they'll be out in the woods and there's just like this fucking like spotlight coming from somewhere off in the trees, and it's like, well, is that the moon or a car or what the fuck? And eventually, just like I don't know, there's spotlights in weird places in the movie because it's stylistic.
Okay,
but it's one of those movies that, like for all the cool stuff they do, it's almost like it has too much style with too little budget because like they felt bigger than their britches in a lot of shots where the sets felt empty and not fully fleshed out, and because of the stark lighting it was just like, well, I know I'm supposed to look at that, but like I can also see there's nothing here in this bar. It's like it doesn't feel like a realistic environment when there's not enough people and there's not things that make it feel like a bar.
Right.
So it's weird because it almost at times feels like a stage play film adaptation, like something like those kind of weird things, like Titus or something like that, where it's like supposed to have like a weird look to it, almost like a stage play, but it's not. And I don't know. Like I said, it's strange, and it also has a real weird, indeterminate time period. Like it feels like it probably takes place in the 70s, but they never say that, and it's not like it's on Netflix if you want to watch it. Was a random choice by me. I was like, I've watched a lot of horror movies. Final Girl, I get that phrase now. I've seen all the Fridays the 13th.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Anywho.
Cool.
It was that guy's first movie.
Okay, there you go. Good job, guy. Maybe next time.
Anybody else got anything?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World is still excellent.
Oh, cool.
All right. Well, breaking news that hasn't changed.
I mean, not breaking news, just, reminder. It's still excellent. I watched it while I was sweeping up glass. It was...
As you do.
Well, it is breaking news.
Yeah. It was like, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to spend 2 hours sweeping up glass. I know it's going to be terrible. I have to watch something that's going to at least keep me from just rolling over and dying right now.
Good idea.
That's all. That's all I got.
Good deal. All right. You guys want some emails?
I think so. I
and
think
maybe,
we're overdue.
and maybe a voicemail as well.
I think we're overdue for some correspondence.
We are. We've kind of put it off for a while.
Let's hit it.
All right. First one up is from Justin, who says, "Greatest news ever.
Yay!"
I was scanning Netflix and came across the greatest find to mankind in the last century. Please have a seat. It's likely to make you lightheaded. You say you want Van Damme back in his glory, punching snakes, murdering the English language with a Cajun Brussels accent, and riding a motorcycle like it's a surfboard in the greatest John Woo movie ever? Just pretend it's the only film he made. Well, wait a minute. Well, guess what, my friends? That movie will never get made. Instead, I bring you the direct DVD sequel no one was asking for, Hard Target 2. This movie has no one returning from the original, in front of or behind the camera, but not to spoil, I think your mind will explode and the rating won't be jocks anymore. It'll be 1 to 4 hard targets. If you Google hard target, have the filter on way too many porn sites. Justin from Alliance, Nebraska. P.S. You guys are the only people I can think of that would be excited knowing they actually made a sequel to Hard Target. J-Man out, sent from my iPhone. That's a Scott Adkins movie, I believe.
I saw that in a Walmart, and I walked by and was just like, "Huh, wait, what?" And then went back and looked at it. I was like, "Man, this has no connection to anything. Why did they slap this name on it? That's silly."
So did I catch that this is like a modern Van Damme, like post, like direct video, like Van Damme? Did I catch that?
No, there's no Van Damme.
Oh, no Van Damme.
It's just Hard Target 2.
Okay.
Starring nobody.
All right. Okay, I was thinking for a second it was a little weird that Van Damme was back for it.
Yeah.
But I thought, never mind. I thought I heard we were going to get more Van Damme, blah, 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 blah.
Well, he set us up for that, and then he swerved on us.
Sure.
He lied.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and saying that... the only thing I don't agree with in that email is saying that Hard Target should be the only movie John Woo made. In the U.S., maybe.
No.
But I know plenty of people like Face Off. I'm not a fan, but fucking The Killer, Hard Boiled, Better Tomorrow, Shut Up.
I mean, I think even Broken Arrow is better than Hard Target as far as if you want stupid.
Broken Arrow is better than Hard Target.
If you want stupid. I mean, I don't like Broken Arrow at all, but I like Face Off. Face Off is my brand of his stupid American stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I still like Mission Impossible too.
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah.
Bike jousting.
Yeah, there's bike jousting. But yeah, Hard Target 2.
Yeah, no one's in it.
It's on our radar.
All
Put
right.
it that way.
No one's in it. It's on our radar.
New motto right there, or what?
Which, by the way, I heard that that Kickboxer sequel came out, or reboot came out and went, and everyone was just like, eh. The one that Van Damme is in, playing like the master instead of like the competitor.
See, I hadn't even heard about that.
Yeah. Kickboxer Vengeance, starring Dave Bautista.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it came out earlier this month. No one gave a shit. But,
No.
yeah,
All right. then.
weird. What a weird time.
So, you want to play a voicemail?
Sure.
Hello, BMFcast. This is John from Indiana. Started listening to your podcast back in March on episode 1, and I finally today caught up with the present, I guess I would say. Of course, I'm making this call from my car as I'm driving, as everybody is supposed to do. Let's see, what else am I supposed to bring up? Well, I mean, obviously DJ is my favorite bandcaster, simply because of his voice, and I do voiceover work myself, so I appreciate what he brings to the show. I'm also very concerned about Clint from Madison. Hope he's doing okay, whatever happened to him. And I do have a second half topic I hope you guys would enjoy discussing. What would be your favorite fake movies from film, movies within movies from film and television that you think would make worthy BMFcast movies, i.e., like the fat bitch movies from 30 Rock that Tracy Jordan does. I just thought that would be a funny topic to do. Thanks a lot for the podcast, guys. Crash and burn. That's the one. Crash and burn.
That's the one.
Where did he say he was
Thanks,
from?
John from Indiana.
Indiana. Okay. I knew there's
Yeah.
some Midwest in there.
I love the idea that Clint one day is going to like
Show up at
suddenly
our
just
door.
renew his feed
Yeah.
and be like, oh man, BMFcast.
Yeah.
And then it's like every few months somebody's going to be like, whatever happened to Clint?
Yep.
And Clint's
Yeah.
going to call back triumphantly and tell us like the amazing story of how he was kidnapped and then he had to break free to save his family and drive a
Hitchhike
truck.
across Saskatchewan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Wisconsin.
Well, I mean, he's up there, and I
Okay.
figured
Oh, so
maybe he
yeah,
got
you figured
lost
he was
and
kidnapped and taken to Canada.
taken to Canada,
The
had
wilds
to
of
hitchhike
Canada.
across Saskatchewan.
And then our phone's up there, so we couldn't
Right.
call us.
That's true. Yeah.
Don't have
yeah.
anything up there.
But you can walk in any door; they're all unlocked.
Right.
That's right, yes. So they'd be happy to help. I have a fake movie.
Okay.
An immediate answer popped into my mind when I saw this. It's from the Onion movie. It is Steven Seagal as Cockpuncher.
Yeah.
That is I remember seeing that and going, I would totally watch this movie. It's just Steven Seagal punching people in the dick.
Yeah, I always think of a movie. When I saw it in the '90s, I was not a fan of it. The Big Hit. There
Yeah.
is a Japanese producer with way too much money on his hands who makes a movie called Taste the Golden Spray.
Yes.
And I was like, and it's more like, and it's like he doesn't even understand what that title means, even though it's supposed to be like a crazy action movie that he's the star of.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he names it Taste the Golden Spray, and they keep making fun of him for it. And I'm like, I would probably watch Taste the Golden Spray.
We should probably watch The Big Hit.
I need to revisit that. That's one of those movies that like I was in my pretentious movie fate. Like I was busy watching literally, the AFI's top 100 films, and then it was like, and this was in my queue on Netflix, and then got the disc, showed up, and was like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
The fuck is this? This one guy's masturbating all the time. What the fuck is this? And now I'd probably watch it and be like, oh, this movie's just the best fucking thing.
I kind of think we should watch that.
Yeah, because it has Lou Diamond Phillips as the bad guy in it.
It does.
I am drawing a complete blank on this, like fake movies and or TV.
Since I just watched it, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the fake movies from Lucas Lee.
Yeah.
those
like
are good,
thrilled to be here. The game is over too. Action Doctor.
Action Doctor. I would totally fucking watch
Let's
Action
hope
Doctor.
there's a heaven.
You're gonna hear two clicks. The first is me hanging up the phone. The next is me pulling the trigger.
I know Mackie would watch Portuguese Gremlins.
Yeah,
I
I thought that was your de
yes.
facto answer right there.
I totally forgot about Portuguese Gremlins, but yes, I would 1,000% watch Portuguese Gremlins.
Obviously, you guys didn't do anything with your little ballot things from your party because I made a Portuguese Gremlins reference on there. The little things we all filled out.
Yes, I did. I read those when I was hungover. I don't
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
I need to reread them.
Yeah, you should read them now.
Okay.
Yeah, I honestly I cannot think of like a single answer. That's so terrible.
Yeah. Let's see what else. I mean, they come up all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a cop out, but like I would want to watch. I would want to watch all the Schwarzenegger movies inside of Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. His Hamlet would be pretty good. Not to be.
Oh, I wish I could watch Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder.
Yes.
You probably don't.
I probably
It
don't,
would
but,
make a good episode.
but I do want to watch it. Like, yeah.
I would watch an episode of that sitcom in RoboCop.
I'd buy that for
Yes,
$1.
I want to just see that show where a guy just says that 100 times in a half hour. Just that's the only joke. It's just like, why does he keep saying that? I don't know. But
I'd watch an
America
episode of Ow
loves
My
it.
Balls.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
At least.
or fart.
I thought it was ass. Was it just ass?
Ass,
Yeah.
That's all it was.
We
For
cared
90
about
minutes.
whose ass it was and why it was farting. Oh, I need to watch Idiocracy again too.
It's coming back out in theaters.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah. Someone has a
should.
clue.
Yeah, it
Someone
should.
really has a clue. Yeah, they're putting it back out. Man.
Yeah.
There are just so many shows that do like that kind of thing. Where
Yeah,
it's just cut to fake clip of thing.
What is it? Is it Kick Puncher from Community?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
Kick Puncher.
Because they got up to like 3 of those.
Yeah.
Because they were just having parties watching Kick Puncher movies. That's a good name.
Yeah, I don't know. We should probably move
Yeah.
on from that.
All right.
Maybe give it some thought, revisit it.
Yeah.
Taste the golden spray.
I'm going to Google that, see what happens.
Good luck.
I'm going to back up.
Yeah, good. Yes, please do that on my internet.
Yeah,
Oh,
we don't
look.
want to be in the blast radius of your phone. When
It's
you
the
do-
top Google search when you just type taste the go.
Of course it is.
Okay, good. The big hit is the first thing that comes up.
Oh,
So-
thank God. All right. Last email for the night is from Steve like the Bird Heron. Squawk! Who's named it Gag Me with a Spoon. BMFcast. Steve like the Bird here with a little squawk and a little such. A couple weeks ago, I began my last year in high school, and I decided now is a good time to catch up on all the essential high school movies I've missed over the years before they're no longer directly relevant to me. I started with Dazed and Confused, and holy shit, that movie is fantastic. It's a spiritual sequel to American Graffiti Always Deserved. But I'm not here to talk about Dazed and Confused. I'm here to talk about the next movie I watched, Valley Girl. Anyone who said Stranger Things laid the 80s on too thick has never seen Valley Girl. That movie is so 1983 that it seems like it was outdated 2 weeks after it came out. It honestly seems like a parody of the 80s rather than something that came out during the decade. Now, I wouldn't call Valley Girl an essential, but it has enough of a following that I figured it was worth a shot. Plus, it's Nicolas Cage's first real role besides a non-speaking cameo in Fast Times, which is another movie I watched for the first time this year. It's Chuck Fine. He is easily the best part of this movie. He's doing the Nick Cage thing of not all of this performance really works, but at least it's interesting. For the record, I love Nicolas Cage without a hint of irony. I think he's a great actor who just makes a lot of poor choices. Everyone else is serviceable. It has a young Elizabeth Daly, who's Dottie from Pee-wee, and the voice of Tommy Pickles on Rugrats, which is why her sex scene in the film made me feel all sorts of confused on the inside.
Wow.
That's funny,
Yep.
yep.
Yeah. The main casting problem is with the parents because half of these actors look maybe 5 years older than the actors playing their teenage children. The main flaw with this movie is that it's men in their 30s trying to write a film that stars mainly teenage girls, and you can tell they have no idea how to write that. At a certain point, I thought to myself, it seems like they've never even met a teenage girl. The script, for the most part, seems disingenuous and pandering, which is exactly what you don't want your high school movie to be. This movie makes or breaks on your enjoyment of Nicolas Cage, and for me, he saves it. I think it's more of Nick Cage just trying to shit. Sorry. Trying to shit. God, my brain. I think it's more of Nick Cage just trying shit than anything that's in the script. Overall, I think that Valley Girl is interesting enough to check out some clips on YouTube or watch 10 minutes if it's on TV, but I couldn't recommend anyone watching it all the way through unless you desperately need some young Nick Cage in your life. Side note, the soundtrack is spectacular. I recommend that way more than the actual movie. C&B, Steve Like the Bird, out. Sent via note, which I passed to Jack, who passed it to Natalie, who passed it to Dave, who passed it to you during homeroom.
Oh, I feel like my ass is on fire.
Gotta try shit. It's dollar bills trying to shit.
Gotta love the brain typo as I'm
Pretty good.
reading these.
I would watch a movie with Nicolas Cage trying to shit.
Yeah.
Also, if you want further sexual confusion besides Elizabeth Daily, try Pamela Adlon and Bobby Hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she's a cute little lady.
Yes.
And she does a boy's voice.
Yes. That's one of those very odd things. Yeah. No, my wife loves Valley Girl. That movie's on in my house all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. So, I get what he's saying. Like, it seems like a parody of the 80s if you weren't actually in the 80s. There are some movies that are just like, the stink of 80s is all over this thing, and it's unbelievable that the decade was ever like that. Mm-hmm. In certain areas of the country, it absolutely was.
Yeah.
Valley Girl, especially. That was absolutely the world at that time, so... Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird how that stuff has aged, but yeah, it's hard to explain. You know, I mean, even though we were young, that was everything back then was as out there as it seems now.
Yeah, we were a lot. It's weird. We were a lot less inhibited back then. You know, like now, everything seems pretty reserved almost in terms of creativity. Like, there's some crazy ideas, but movies don't necessarily always go for it in terms of just like whatever idea they come up with. And 80s movies were just, you know, I mean, you look at Buckaroo Banzai. I know no one in this room likes it but me, but that movie is a thing where it's just like, what on earth? Like, this is all over the place. Like, they're not explaining shit. And a studio was like, yeah, do that. That'll make money.
Yeah.
Solarbabies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kyle,
I just can't remember if we had this conversation here or if it's even one I've had with you guys, but like how decades don't matter anymore and how, like, because monoculture is gone, you don't have these distinct, like, holy shit, everybody was doing this then. Like, everything from a certain point, like, you know, everyone talks about the 90s, but it's really like the shit everyone talks about as being the 90s ended in like 91 or 92, and the rest of the 90s feels like the rest of what we're fucking doing now.
Well, it depends on what thing you're talking about.
I think that's partly your perspective. Because
yeah, but I mean, like, when people talk about, like, oh, you know, people wearing neon clothing and just weird, you know, and like, and like the design stuff that everyone does when they're like, oh, let's make it look 90s, is it's like you make it look like 1991 and you never go past that. Is kind of,
well, you get that brief grungy Reality Bites singles era of 90s-ishness too, but
then you have the extreme 90s where it's like that's the mid to late 90s where it was all Mountain Dew and rollerblades and street illusion.
Yeah.
Fuck
everything with an X.
Street illusion.
yeah, that is a good point. But like, basically 98 to now doesn't, like, I think it feels like the passage of time hasn't, like, everything feels like it was way too quick because, like tell me what was distinct about 2006 versus 2016 fashion-wise or anything, you know? And that's kind of...
There wasn't as much skinny jeans.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm a little detached from the zeitgeist. I mean,
I feel like there's...
Other people could tell me that.
Like, plenty of things that have happened fashion-wise, but I think I don't want to feel like it's cliche to say, but a lot of shit changed on, you know, September 11th, 2001.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
But he's talking 2006 to 2016.
I know, but I'm saying, like, I feel like there's a delineation that sort of, like, popped maybe at that.
I mean,
going crazy.
The only thing I could say is we had swoopy hair, and now we have hair shaved on the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's your main
I
changes.
guess when you talk about something like Valley Girl and you say, well, yeah, that's 1983 as fuck. Like, show me something from 2003, 2004, 2008, 2009, and you're gonna be like, yeah, they all kind of look the same.
Yeah.
Like they don't. It isn't like wow, look at that shit.
That kind of stuff, you start get into technology. That's what defines the look of certain things is like cell phones.
My second theory on that is that we're not far enough removed to have distilled what that era was about. Like 10 years ago, you would have said, like, "Oh, that's so 90s," and you're like, "What?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?" I think in maybe 5 or 8 years, we'll be like, "Oh, that's a very 2000s thing to do. That's a very 2000s way of looking at the world or dressing or whatever." We'll have distilled it because people will have forgotten sort of the sameness and only remembered the few things that stand out.
And I guess it doesn't help that we tend to recycle trends and stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's when we were doing the swing thing in the late 90s.
Yeah. But I think, and this also sounds like a cliche, but like the internet has changed the way we react to fads and stuff because
they don't have time for them to settle
We kill
in.
them too quick.
because it's like 70s and 80s, like you would have a thing that is happening in a city. Like this, the people in this city are starting to do this thing, and that would slowly kind of creep out of there as it would go through like music and movies and stuff like that. But because that stuff took so long to produce, it would take longer for that stuff to permeate across the country and change. Whereas now it's like, oh, look what Beyonce's wearing. Let's all do that. And then like a week later, you're like, I'm over that. I'm not doing that anymore. So it's like you don't even have time for anything to be a fad because our attention span is so quick now. It's just like, okay, this is cool. Okay, everyone's now doing this. Okay, fuck that thing. That's Monday to Friday on the internet.
Memes have a day.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's on Facebook now? Fuck it.
Yeah.
By the time
done.
it's made to Facebook, it's over.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, it's
not a judgment.
It's like, and this is this kind of explains the mentality, but like, last night was the presidential debate. Everyone got online and talked about it. This morning, everyone was like, shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Enough talking about the debate. It was less than 12 hours in the past, and everyone just said, shut up. No more. That's how fast everything is now.
Well,
And
we
that-
talk
and that
about it
applies
right
to
now.
everything.
Because we can talk about it to everybody
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah,
instead of like spreading the water cooler conversation over a week because you couldn't engage with enough
Right.
people.
But something in the case like that, people discuss before they've had time to digest, and therefore think things over and make informed decisions.
Yeah.
or
That is
or
also-
informed commentary, if not decisions. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's
Side effect for
it's
sure.
a side effect.
And also, I would say that people would express themselves in certain styles because that's how they felt they could express themselves. And now it's almost become certain products that people express themselves through, like whatever their favorite show is or their favorite movie. Like the bulk of movies are superhero stuff now, the big like things, marketing things. And so now everyone wears Captain America t-shirts. It's like no one has a style anymore because they're like, I like Captain America. I'm going to buy 6 Captain America t-shirts in different colors and just wear those. It's not really...
That's a style. It's called nerd.
I know, but people are also a lot freer to feel that way. So it's not like
Yeah.
people latching on to what they think is a popular thing. Now everyone can kind of just be like, hey, I like Doctor Who. I wear a bunch of Doctor Who t-shirts. You weren't doing that in the 80s because like you would get beat up. So you need to...
Well, you couldn't buy a Doctor Who shirt.
Yeah, I
You'd
was
have to
gonna-
spend $600
but you just
to
need
get
to
it
wear a
from
jean jacket and some
England.
jelly bracelets and hope no one at school beats you and puts you in a toilet. So
If you were wearing a jean jacket and jelly bracelets, Chuck, then that's why you were getting stuff
there
in
were a
it.
few weeks where that was like cool.
For dudes?
Yes, for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember a time where it was okay. I had slap bracelets.
Oh,
Yep.
dude, yeah.
Yeah.
I got in trouble for slap bracelets.
You shouldn't slap them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just wear
Fuck
them.
that.
I
Why would I buy a
Chuck was probably
slap
like,
bracelet if I didn't slap
I'm
it?
moving north just so I can see if I can pull off the Tom Baker scarf without getting caught.
Yeah, you can't do that down here. That's the
Nope.
regional like fashion is hard because of temperature.
But maybe Steve can tell us in a future email like what it's like in high school now, because like it sounds dumb, but watching something like 21 Jump Street, the new one, and like having that culture was like, oh man, like that's way different than I expected, and just knowing how different high school would be these days with everyone having a cell phone, everyone having social media, and not having like that escape from school where you can be yourself almost.
Yeah.
Like you have to be a specific person all the time because it's all going to be on social media regardless.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious about like what that's like, because as much as we tend to hate high schoolers, like they drive fashion and culture and that stuff because they're the ones who are willing to look stupid, so to speak, in hindsight look stupid, let's put it that way, and not care about it.
I think too that
to form groups in the ways that they style themselves.
Yeah, but I think now too it's almost like you don't have to wear certain styles to express yourself. You're a Vine celebrity. That's how you express yourself. You make videos. That's now who you
but I mean,
are.
that's
I think there's still a lot of...
That's 1 in 100,000.
No, I don't mean like a Vine celebrity, because for every Vine celebrity, there are 1,000 kids trying to do the same thing. But you look at any Vine, and no one is wearing any kind of noticeable style of any kind. It's jeans and a T-shirt anywhere, in anything, except when they also pretend to play their mother and put a wig on. I mean, that's,
I don't know. Well, I mean, there's a difference between like chilling around the house making Vines and what people wear to, what people wear as in fashion, because everybody has comfort clothes, and for the most part that's going to be the same for everybody, but then there is fashion also, and I think we all have friends who have kids that are of an age to, or at least some of us have friends that are of an age to wear somewhat fashionable clothing, and there are trends there. It's hard for me to say what they are because I'm fucking dumb. I would wear the same shirt every day if I could get them in like 5 colors. But there is distinct clothing that's not just like loungewear.
I am curious about one thing that perhaps someone of high school age could shed light on. I'm at this point where I am now only receiving high school style culture through movies. So, because I'm removed at this point, thankfully. But like I've noticed one trend, and you mentioned 21 Jump Street, and another one would be Dope. Is I'm wondering kids have always gone out and got drunk, got high, whatever thing of the escape from your own thing. But like, are the what I call designer drugs really a big thing in high schools? Like, I mean, is that really like Breaking Bad-esque chemical mixing shit? Is that really the thing, or is that just what movies have latched onto? I'm curious.
Ecstasy is still a thing.
Ecstasy, MDMA, all these things. I'm wondering if like that's what's.
I don't think it's that big a thing.
Well, I mean, those were the central points in like both those movies of like we got to catch people.
I think it's just the hot, like it's a somewhat hot.
And it could be, like I said.
Or it is to a 30-year-old man, 35-year-old man who's writing
dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
Molly. Rolling, because like ecstasy has seen its heyday, saw its heyday in the 2000s.
Yeah, go era.
But I still think that one is the one that kind of lingers around. That kids would be like, yeah, let's do that.
Drugs
Steve
never
says
really
it's the weed.
Meth and heroin
disappear.
Are not high on a kid's list.
Right.
Yeah, and weed, it's like you may as well just be drinking. Like nobody gives and even obviously with legalization that's helped somewhat, but now it's just like nobody gives a fuck about weed. They're like, oh, you got some weed? Well, who's your dealer? Help me out here.
Yeah,
that's probably still
it's
what's
way
his
less.
Twitter account?
It's way less. You need to stop that. And it's like, hey man, hook me up.
Hey, sweet, yeah, all right.
It's probably
You're my
still
friend now.
like a thing of danger for the kids because it's
Yeah.
Well,
Like I said,
sure.
thing
I
you're
was
not
just
supposed to
that
have.
was one thing that I've noticed pop up in several movies. I know I've seen some others that just not coming to me like the bad kids in school are now dealing Molly.
I'm sure like
I'm sure saying it like that.
Molly.
like I'm sure that happens, but I don't think that's the thing. Fairly certain that's not the thing. Steve like the bird, who is our connection to the high school pulse, says that it's
Writer
that
for
it's-
High Times and
Right.
high school high times.
Right. Says it's the weeds.
Yeah. Well,
Kids are injecting weed these days.
That's been since the 30s.
And toilet water.
Yeah. But I mean that's
We're coming up on a good solid century of weed.
Yeah.
Still reigning supreme.
Yeah.
yeah. It's for good reason.
Yeah.
It's cheap and it's easy.
It mellows you out.
And you don't do dumb shit.
Well,
You generally sit on the couch and go, man.
Honestly, I think more kids are probably on Adderall than anything else.
So you need that weed to level them
prescription
out.
drugs.
You know, because you got to play your competitive gaming,
Right.
Get all those clicks.
I have heard that ups your clicks per minute.
Yep.
Actually, you better get into college, or you're not going to have all that sweet debt if you don't get into college.
Yep.
So you better take some Adderall and get an A.
Yep.
Or some money.
It's way easier to get all of those things in college.
Right.
So that's why you should go to college. Way easier to get drugs. I mean,
Right.
come on. It's all about convenience and spending
You have
thousands and
you have
thousands
to keep
of dollars.
a stick on you in college just to keep the drugs away. You're just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no,
Oh, yeah. Just, no, damn it.
quit trying to put the drug needles in my pockets.
Plus, if you're like a real college, it's the perfect place to do drugs because all of the things you could possibly need are all within walking distance.
Yeah.
They are.
You don't have to ever
And
go
everybody
anywhere.
else is doing drugs too,
Yeah.
so it's cool.
Here's throwing them under your door.
Yeah.
We're terrible people.
We don't know how the world works.
Yeah, we do. Drugs.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
We are way removed from
People-
schooling of any kind.
that is true. So,
Did we just...
yeah,
Yeah.
but we need to
That
just
wrap it
cut
up?
it off.
Okay.
yeah.
But I'm genuinely curious how fashion works in high school these days.
We should go undercover.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll get right on that, Chuck.
We'll just Drew Barrymore and Never Been Kissed. Just sneak in.
Yeah, she was maybe 30.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think the window's already closed on that.
Nah, I can.
See,
I'd be fine.
hairlines.
I'm hip. I'm cool.
How do you do?
Chuck's
Yeah,
never
fucking
been anywhere
Steve-
cool enough.
Steve Buscemi with the skateboard.
Yes,
That'd
right.
be
I would
us.
totally fit in.
I think you're the only one, Harlow, that could maybe get away with it if you took care of the little skunk stripe coming in.
Sure, yeah, right. No. I don't think so.
I think you're the only one.
Yeah, I'm
My hairline precludes me from
grayer
looking.
than shit
Why are your shit great?
because I'm old.
You also you have never been cool enough for high school, Chuck.
No,
so
even
that-
when I was in high school, they were like narc.
old man alarm.
Yep, the whole time. Oh man,
I'd just walk and be like, hey, what's fresh?
Hey kids, got any dope?
Where, know where I could get some...
can you introduce me to money?
You know who I'm talking about.
Huh? You know that Limp Bizkit song, huh?
Yeah.
Rolling. That's what I'm all about.
You know those ones that look like vitamins?
You got any vitamins?
Yeah.
Really, I need it for my osteoporosis.
I'm on a health kick.
Hey, kids, do you like Primus? Want to Stevie stick 9 Inch Nails to both of my eyelids?
Thanks, Em.
All right.
All right. So,
Contact info.
All right.
how should people
Please.
write us in high school to tell us about their fashion?
Well, like Steve said, you pass a note to Jack, to pass a note to Deborah, to pass a note to Timmy, to pass a note to Molly, to pass a note to us. Molly. Or you could just pick up your mobile and go to BMFcast.com. I don't know how the kids do it. What, you tweet at BMFcast.com? Something like that.
Could do that.
Anyway, BMFcast.com, there's a bunch of buttons on the right-hand side. That'll take you to all of our social things. It's also got a link to email us. Our email address, if you don't want to go to the website, is bmf@bmfcast.com. And you can always give us a call on the Garfield phone, 9105-JOCKS-BMF or 910-556-9263. Give us a call from the road. Let us know which of these great United States or other countries or other states you are passing through, and tell us about some movie stuff. Jam on it.
All right.
Sounds good.
Well, let's get out of here, shall we? I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ,
I'm Chuck.
and this is BAMFcast out. Bye, motherfucker.
Yep.
There it is.
Farewell.
I don't always, motherfucker. But when I do, I bye, motherfucker.
Again,
Bye, motherfucker.
I apologize if this has been shared a billion times, and I can never remember who shares these things on Twitter, but did you see the guy pulled over in the HOV lane with the Dos Equis guy cut out?
No.
He had the Dos Equis, like, cardboard cutout guy seatbelt into his passenger seat.
Nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
Away with it?
Well, the tweet or whatever said, like, I don't always drive illegally in the HOV lane.
I like it.
Yeah. And what's funny is, like, the shot was, like, from the cop or whoever outside the car, and the guy's just like almost doubled over with laughter. Like he's just like he can't contain it. He's just like, yeah, you got me. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it.
All right. Bye. Goodbye, stream.